Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the On Season. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday night. Happy NFL Draft Eve. We're exactly at this time 24 hours away from the draft. Finally, we can put all the smoke, the rumors, everything aside and finally figure out what these teams are doing, but more specifically, the Miami Dolphins. We're going to be doing a final mock draft. We're going to go through all 32 teams. And if we have time, we'll do a Dolphins 7-round mock draft. But it's not just the usual people here today. Not only, of course, my partner Jason Sarney's here, but we have a very special guest joining us to help us out here. Former NFL defensive back, former Pro Bowler, turned scout, who's got so much passion for the draft. You all know him, Corey Chavous. You can find him at draftnastymagazine.com. Please go check out his website. He has tremendous content on there. But let's bring him on in. Jason, you ready to rock and roll?
Let's rock and roll. Let's bring Corey, and we'll go shotgun offense and hit this mock. What's going on, Corey?
Corey, hey, how are y'all doing, man? Thanks a lot for having me, man.
We appreciate it, man. We're excited. I've heard a lot of great things. Jason has told me, like I said. Before we get into the mock draft, we're 24 hours away. What is your thoughts on this particular draft here, just as it approaches in less than 24 hours?
I think that this draft is going to be fascinating, because I think that there's so many players who are in a large degree kind of in the same bucket to if you want to say so, because there are a number of teams I think that are probably grappling with whether or not to take this player or that player because they're graded so close together. And I think that's something that's going to make it just really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. I was doing a big board, right? Going from the it's a different doing it horizontally than switching it to the vertical board. I would say, I don't know if you would agree, player 20, even player 15 to 50, there's not much difference. Like, I think you'll see some guys you thought were going to go in the 20s and 30s go in the second round and vice versa. You agree with that, Corey?
I do. I think that's something that you could even have that trickle its way into the third and fourth rounds. And I think that's what makes it, when you're watching it, you're not going to really know exactly. You'll have an idea, I think, of what to expect from team to team in terms of what they're actually looking for with needs per se, but who they feel like, whether this team has this player graded the same as another team, I think will kind of be all over the place.
Yeah. What are some of the strengths for you in this draft? Where's the deepest position? Is it the defensive tackle?
Defensive tackle is definitely a deep position. I think running back is a position that has quite a bit of depth. I feel like that the interior offensive line, while you might not have like a high quality number, like just surefire couple of first rounders, I mean, outside of maybe Zabel and potentially Booker, there are a lot of guys that I think are in that 3 to 6 round range in terms of grades, and maybe even have some guys with decent marks. And then I feel like that the cornerback position has a lot of depth as well. Again, you probably only have 1 or 2 guys that are what most people would have as true first round grades. But I do think that there are a number of second round quality corners in this draft. And I think that's a position that also has some pretty good depth.
Jason, you got anything?
I think that's a perfect leading, because we're talking about positions that the Dolphins need. The Dolphins have a lot of needs, Corey and George and everybody out there. We all know that. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in those first 12 picks. And the board that is left for us, we'll take you through. We'll hit this mock draft. And with what Corey said, let's see what positions he values. And we'll come to a 3-headed agreement here on who we're going to select with each of these teams. And if anybody wants to pound the table, so to speak, for a guy somewhere, that's what we're here to do. So we'll cover the 32 teams as well as these players.
All right. And we'll get into a lot of the specific players as we go on to the draft. You guys ready to rock and roll? Let's
do it.
All right. Let me just get it started here. Okay. Starting at number 1, guys, I think this is no mystery, right? Anybody arguing here? It's got to be Cam Ward, correct?
No argument here.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. But It doesn't look like that's the agreement. Is that how it works right there? I see.
No, that's their board.
That's the board. Yeah, I got you. The number one on the board is Hunter.
Yeah. All right, let's go with Cam Ward here. No shocker. All right, number 2, Cleveland. I go Hunter. Anybody disagree?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, for me and it could just go. It flip around. The prospect of combining Garrett with Abdul Carter was too much for me to pass up at that pick. So I had that flipped. I don't necessarily know what you're thinking on at pick number 3, but Abdul Carter, I think would be an incredible bookend for the Cleveland Browns.
Here's the funny part, right? You got to keep up what you think's going to happen versus what you would happen. Abdul Carter is my number 1 player on my board, right? He's got some of the best. I probably since Von Miller, man, some of the best stuff off the edge I've seen. But I think they're gonna go Hunter. So you go Carter, I go Hunter. Jason, you're breaking the tie, brother.
You know what? There's a really big appeal to that duo. And to me, a guy like a Travis Hunter falling to New York, to the metropolitan area, a star player. If I'm the New York Giants, I am doing every bit of dancing and looking up to the sky. That either way, they're going to get a stud. But if the Browns want to get the best player on the board, it might just be a generational guy like an Abdul Carter, just to have some fun.
Yeah,
let's go Carter.
We'll put it. No, I think we probably all think that Hunter is going to probably in real world, right? That's what I think will happen. Jason, you probably agree, but.
Anything can happen draft day, but if we're looking for the best player on the board, and if this guy is a number 1 player, I know this site has Travis Hunter above, but it would be tough to pass on either of these guys. But I like to have some fun. And Joe Rist is going to make some money. We'll make some money for Joe.
I tell you what, man, it's going to be a lot of people. I mean, this draft, I don't know exactly where you would go to place your potentially wagers. But if you put some money on Carter going number 2, I think that would be some pretty good. I mean, think about how much you would make, you know what I'm saying, based on the fact that with those odds, probably going to make a little bit for whatever you were to go out and wager if you're willing to potentially lose. But that's going to be interesting. And what would even shake it up more is if Tennessee goes out of the box and does something completely different with the number 1 pick. Remember, we had that happen just a couple of years back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you never know what can happen in these drafts.
Hunter is minus 1,100. So the favorite is Hunter.
The favorite is Hunter.
If you're going to ask me who's going there, it's Hunter. But if you guys want to go, well, maybe you think it's the best player available, we can have some fun. We can put Carter there. It's really not going to shake up the draft. It's going to be these 3 in order.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You can do the chalk there too. We're having fun, but when you see minus 1,100, that is Vegas's way of pretty much telling you.
Yeah, so, it's going to be Travis.
George, your name's on the show. This is your channel. I think you'll get final say on the number 2.
I just think it's going to be Hunter. I'm going to go Hunter.
It's a compelling story and argument, but we'll go Hunter to be safe.
All right. Number 3,
Carter.
We just discussed them. We're going to go Abdul Carter here.
You can't miss if you're the Giants.
Yeah, that's it. All right. 4. Look, they're going to need somebody to protect Drake May. Corey, is it Campbell for you?
Absolutely. I mean, that's who I would take. But again, at least that's the pick that I made in the mock. But to me, that pick has some flexibility. There are a number of different ways that pick could go. I think they're going to be kind of tipping point in the first round, what they decide to do, because I think that will kind of shake some things up if they decided to go in another direction.
Jason?
It makes a lot of sense for them to have Campbell as the protector. I mean, he'd be a left tackle for the Patriots, I feel like, and it's whether you want to protect the quarterback or maybe get him a potential weapon. I think it's a little too early for that. Campbell's the best player on the board. I think Campbell's a home run there for him. I hate saying a home run pick for the Patriots, but it's looking like that is.
Yeah, I agree here. All in agreement, Will Campbell. And guys, of course, if you're watching anywhere else, please come on, join us on YouTube. Smash that like and subscribe button. Please support the channel. We're doing our final mock draft. We're less than 24 hours away from the NFL draft. We're joined by former NFL player and now scout Corey Chavous, who's covered the draft for ESPN, NFL Network, all those big places that we all dream of being on. He's been in the NFL and behind the camera, in front of the camera, on those big networks covering the draft. All right. So number 5. This is where I think the draft starts to get fun. I don't know if you guys agree with that. So everything I hear, I see, they're going weapon. And if we're going to go weapon, I think it's between Genty, Warner, McMillan. I'd go Genty because I think he's one of the few blue chip prospects in this draft. We'll start with you, Jason.
Well, this is interesting because a lot of folks prior to maybe the last couple of days was thinking Graham can go to the Jaguars, but now it's looking like the word is, I don't know if we're talking smoke here, but maybe they pass on Graham, which would make him fall down the board. We can get into that. But Corey, I'm interested in what your thoughts would be if you're the Jaguars from their personnel standpoint. What's the more important priority? Would it be the defensive line or would it be an offensive substitute?
Well, I think we got to look at the roster to a large degree. I mean, you look at what you have at the running back position, and you don't just have one productive back. You've got a couple. So you're going to probably have to move somebody there. And then you go back over to the defensive side of the ball, and you think about the fact that they had so many struggles, not only creating turnovers, but stopping the run a year ago. I think that's been the thing that's been the most disappointing for Jacksonville. You've got a lot of these high draft picks, and you have just not been able to do the number one thing you've got to do, and that's been able to stop the run in this league. And in fact, 9 of the 10 teams who were, in terms of yards per carry average, that gave up the most yards per carry average, 9 of those teams did not make the playoffs. The only one that made the playoffs was the Commanders. So for me, when I'm looking at what Graham brings to the table, he makes life easier on your linebackers. And, certainly you want that if you've got Okolodin and also Devin Lloyd.
So my guess, I know they have the 2 backs, obviously, ETN and why is the kid from Auburn is escaping my name? Yeah, Bigsby. So Tank Bigsby, they have both of those. But how do you feel about Genty? I feel his contact balance, Corey, is as good as you've seen, right? Like it's special. I think he could change even the running game. With they got Liam Cohen there and they got the GM from the Rams. I think they're going to go weapon, but you think they should go on the defensive side of the ball here?
Well, I'm just kind of going by philosophically. I kind of agree in terms of what you're saying. I think matches up from we're trying to put our own identity on the roster. Yeah. But at the same time, when you look at that administration and where they came, where they worked together at with the Rams, who was the game changer? And I don't think they don't see a Graham in the same mode as what they viewed an Aaron Donald potentially as, because that's what you would have to envision him as if you're going to make that pick. So if they don't see that and they see maybe a Todd Gurley type, obviously a different style back, then it would be the weapon.
Yeah, they got to get Trevor Lawrence going here. That's their thing. And you look at the receivers, the size of the receivers he had at Clemson. They were 6'3", 6'4" receivers, and so to me, I'm down to McMillan or Genty. I lean Genty. Jason.
Yeah, I mean, based on we're doing this show a couple hours after a mock draft from Peter Schrager of ESPN. Yeah. He's been accurate, fairly accurate here when he does these things, especially for Miami. He says that Genty is going to be the pick, which will cause, little teaser, a fun situation at 13. But I think we'll go Genty here for sake of having fun. Play off the recent news of the day.
Yeah. Corey, where would you lean, McMillan or Genty here?
Out of those two, I would take Genty.
So I think you guys down for Genty here?
Let's have some fun with this one.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get some electricity in this draft. Here we go.
All right, let's go. Let's see what's up.
Let's do it.
I like
all
that.
Right.
Now we got things all over the place.
Now we can let's have some fun here.
The monkey wrench was thrown. You know what's going to happen, and we just threw it. So let's rock.
Let's see. So we're at 6, Las Vegas. They can go a couple places here. My first instinct is offense is Membu. How do you feel about him? And I guess the next tackle would be Banks, or Graham would be on the other side of the ball. How do you feel about the tackle? Is Membu higher than Banks for you?
Yeah, he's higher. I mean, I think if it were, I don't think it's a big separation. You're talking about specifically when you're talking about Mimbu, the experience comes on the right side. So if you're going to play him or have any thoughts of playing him, which I think in this case, you wouldn't have to move him based on their current roster. So that makes things probably puts a little bit more at ease because you've got Colton Miller, but you only have him for, I believe, his contract might be up after this year. So I feel like with that, I think you have a comfortable transition for him there at the right tackle position. I think that's going to be important in year one.
Yeah, and he can kick in. He could play guard too. Remember, right? You could play him at right guard.
I'm not drafting him at 6 to play guard though. He's going to have to play outside to me.
Right, especially there. And look, they got Brady there. They got the new GM. They want to have a culture pick, a kind of to choose the direction and the attitude, and it starts up front, right? I'd go Mbu, Jason.
I think it's a great pick for them. And Mbu, it, gets a really young line in development, power football, and Jackson Powers Johnson last year. So I think it's a great pick to have him. On the right tackle side, the right side is a great move.
All in agreement?
Yep.
All right. Armand Mimbu going 6 overall to the Raiders. Okay. We are at number 7 with the Jets. I know you've been on someone, Jason, here for a while, and that's Tyler Warren. We'll start with you, Corey. Where would you lean here with the Jets?
Yeah, well, I mean, I would lean Mimbu, because that was kind of how I, would envision it playing out. But since he's no longer on the board, I think you've got to kind of look in a little bit of a different direction and to see who's actually left to pick from. And I think right now you probably have to lean a little bit towards, picking between Tyler Warren. But we did have one guy that we passed on that potentially could be a pretty good fit for the Jets as well.
Who's that, Mason Graham?
Absolutely. And I think when you think about what actually things were built on in Detroit for Aaron Glenn, they're going to value personality and tone setters. I think Mason Graham's a tone setter. I think his energy and his electricity, I think that's something to consider here. Just because if you're talking about drafting the best players in the draft, I don't think we're trying to just fit needs all the way around.
Yeah.
All the way down, up and down. So when you skip over a player like him, and that just means he's available for somebody else.
Yeah. Well, how much do you separate him and Grant, the teammates? Him and Grant at defensive tackle.
Well, I think they're two different body types to a large degree. Now, I wouldn't say completely different because Graham is about, 6'3.5", maybe 295, 300. Whereas you're talking about another guy that's 330 pounds, did a really good job of getting his hands up and affecting the 3-step passing game and has some room to grow. I like the energy and the combativeness of Graham more than Grant. Grant is not as consistent on a down-to-down disruptive basis as Graham.
Yeah, Graham reminds me a lot. It's an easy comp, but it's true. When I first saw him, is Christian Wilkins. Mason Graham, a lot of Christian Wilkins. I would say, would you agree with this statement? Graham has a higher floor, Grant the higher ceiling?
I can see that. Because I think Grant can give you something down the road as he grows as a pass rusher from a pass rush perspective.
All right, Jason, where are you at here?
I've been saying the Tyler Warren, but you know what? It's a very compelling argument that Corey makes, and not even an argument is the wrong word. It's the realization that a new coach is coming from an identity of how they're building this football team or that football team in Detroit. And look, to solidify a defensive line that's already pretty solid, they would be hard pressed to pass on Grant. See, this is the draft. Is a player falling for a particular reason, or is it because a team just wanted another shiny toy over him? But I'm going to stick to my guns. If it's gun to head, I'm going to say that Tyler Warren is the pick. I'm sure another team before the Dolphins is probably going to be interested in Graham. Yeah. So let's continue to have a little bit of fun. If it's up to me, I'll say maybe Warren is the offensive pick.
Corey, you all right with that?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's go.
Hey, that's what we on.
New York's got to sell some tickets.
yeah, exactly. I think that, and I think that from the perspective of Tyler Warren and how fun, that's a fun pick, right? I think that's not a meat and potatoes pick,
right?
Yet he is a meat and potatoes pick, right? He kind of gives you a little bit of both with the experience playing in the Wildcat and all the stuff they did with him at Penn State.
Yeah.
I think it's a fan base pleasing pick. You don't draft for fan base, but I think in this deep of a class for the Jets, they'd probably be thinking that Warren's a great pick. They'll address the line maybe a little bit further down the road.
Yeah, I just want to shout out everybody in the chat. Joe, Kosa, Elwood, everybody in the chat. Thanks. Make sure you're coming on over to YouTube and hitting that like and subscribe button, checking us out here 24 hours away from the draft. Okay, 8, Carolina. This gets interesting. I think this is a trade down. This team wants to trade down, I think, Carolina. Shout out to the Dive Bar. How you doing? I was on their show yesterday. Great job over there.
What's up, Dive Bar?
Dive Bar. Shout them out.
That's what's up, man. What's up?
There you go.
All right. By the way, Dive Bar will be on with us and Jason. We're going to be live. I'll say this while they're on here. We'll be live before the draft tomorrow for about half an hour, 45 minutes, right up to the draft. Then you guys go watch the pick, watch the draft to the Dolphins pick. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't like to be on. I hate when the social media spoils it. But after the Dolphins pick, maybe 10, who knows, 5, 10, 15 minutes later, I will be on live recapping it with Jason. Not only Jason, but Bobby Shouts from the Dive Bar podcast. Corey, you're welcome if you want to come too, brother.
I wish I could, man.
But yeah, we'll be live after. So make sure you come here after the Dolphins pick. All right. So where are we at? 8, Carolina. Looks like a trade down spot, but we're not doing trades. My initial guess here, looking at my notes, Jalen Walker, or could they go weapon here? Jason, what do you think?
I mean, to me, I think Walker makes sense, but, McMillan to pair with, a young quarterback, that makes sense too. I'm interested in what Corey would do as massive team need. What do you think the Panthers are thinking?
I'm going to go back to what I talked about with the Jaguars again, and I don't think I kind of lean towards where y'all are going with this because when these guys are in this position, you're going to just try to take the best player available, particularly in a draft that we started this podcast off talking about for Fins Faithful, a draft that had a lot of players in the same buckets. So now all of a sudden we don't want to just forget about, hey, these are the 5 to 7 to 10 or 15 elite players. Pass it on them to try to fill a team need. So from that perspective, I think you probably are maybe looking at the weapon, even though you took a receiver in the first round a year ago.
Yeah.
Leggett.
Yeah, the Xavier Leggett, yeah.
They got to stop the run, though. Let's be real. Like they are the worst. They were the worst team in the league.
What's your recommendation here then?
I'm sorry?
What's your recommendation on this pick? If you had we'll let you give a influence here on the Carolina pick.
Well, I think they're going to be a creative defensive team, and I think in that case, one of the best players in this draft is Jalen Walker.
Yeah,
because you can do a lot of different things with them, and I think he fits what they do defensively, or what they want to do defensively. He can do a lot for you. They still got to stop the run. I don't know that he helps that much as an off-the-ball linebacker. He's probably a lot better going forward.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the only concern.
That's with him. I didn't know what to do with him. Is he an off-the-ball blitzer? Is he he's kind of a chess piece, I guess, but it's kind of hard to figure out. It's explosive. The tape is dynamite, but did you have that trouble figuring out where exact spot you want him at? Do you like him as an off-ball blitzing linebacker?
I like him in those situations, but the key in diagnose, you watch them play. A lot of times he's lining up in a 2-point stance off the edge going against tackles. Yeah. And a lot of those times he did not have success as well. So still the Buckets Award winner, has experience doing both. I think you can't take that away from him, what he has put out there. And I think the best football for him is to come. A lot of folks around that program love his leadership.
Yeah, his character in interviews. And the one thing I didn't like linebacker-wise, they didn't ask him to do a lot in coverage, right?
Not
a lot at all.
And when they did ask him,
it wasn't good.
Stiffness.
Yeah. So, A, it's what you saw, and B is why did they ask him, right? So,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I always say that. We're not going to outsmart the college coaches who had him for 4 years.
Yeah. All right, Jason. Jalen Walker. We're all in agreement, Jalen Walker?
100%.
All right. Let's go Jalen Walker here at number 8. All right, number 9, New Orleans. Everybody talks quarterback here. I don't think it'll be quarterback. Jason, you think it's quarterback?
I think it's quarterback, and if it's not quarterback, then you might be looking at that. Where's Sanders going to fall to? You know,
I'll give you the guy I think it's going to be is Mikael Williams.
I mean,
I'm not as high in Williams, but I think he's the type of guy. I heard they're looking for that replacement for Cameron Jordan. Like he's getting up there. He's came back. I think it's his 15th year in the league. Kind of mentor him. That's what I've heard. Right? I'm not Mikael Williams at number 9 in love with him. I think he's more of a teens player, early 20s. But in this draft, the flavor is not much different from 9 to 20. So Jason says quarterback. I says Mikael Williams. Corey, break the tie here. You got bang the table.
I'm gonna bang it for Shedeur Sanders, I'm at the point right now. If you're gonna go into the season with an unsure quarterback situation, maybe you're gonna decide to really go with Rattler, because that's the position you're putting yourself in if you decide to move past this pick, or you're gonna have to sign somebody in free agency. You know what I'm saying? Is it Jake Haener? I don't know what you're gonna do, but the bottom line is if you're planning in your first season to go, because right now we would all agree that Derek Carr is probably not going to be ready, correct?
Yeah, I think earliest mid-season they said.
Okay, so that's a lot of time to take pain if you're a first-year coach, and also a lot of time to not try to develop some type of chemistry. Now, I don't know necessarily if Shedeur Sanders is the fit for Moore. I don't think it really fits some of the other quarterbacks he's had in the past. I do think that there's some correlation between him and Prescott in terms of the pocket toughness, but I'm thinking quarterback here, and it would be Sanders for me.
Yeah, I think they're going to take Williams, but let's have some fun. I'll let you guys argue the quarterback. I think it's between Dart and Sanders. You guys come up with the quarterback, and I'll sign off on it.
No, you already heard what I'm going. I'm going Sanders.
Quarterback, going Sanders.
Okay. Yeah. First quarterback off the board, or second quarterback off the board, the Saints get their guy. All right, number 10, Chicago. So who do we got left here on the board? We got, Mason Graham looking good here.
Yeah, he is looking pretty good here.
Yeah, I would say Banks Jr., Graham. Those would be the guys I think they'd be looking at. Anybody else as we go down this list? Anybody else you think for them, Jason or Corey?
I mean, if you want to go with Colson, Loveland, maybe, because if they were targeting Tyler Warren, but, I think when looking at this team needs to stop the run and to get stronger defensively, and they see Mason Graham dangling, it might break the hearts of Dolphin fans, but I wouldn't be shocked if Graham would be the pick in this instance.
Yeah, Graham, you might not know this, Corey. Graham, I had a guy falling months ago when I first started, because these are the type of guys who fall, right? Yeah, they don't look the part, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
32-inch arms. He doesn't have the 35-inch.
He didn't run.
And that was the other thing too. He didn't work out for the. That's what you were saying, right?
Yeah. He didn't work out, and you know what they say. Fast guys run, slow guys don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And those things do. I do think they make a difference. You want to give those decision makers comfort.
Yeah, and plus, you're meeting a guy. You're shaking his hand. These execs are like us. We like big, fast, physical, lobby room looking players. He's not that guy. You put on his tape. He's disruptive. His short area quickness is tremendous. He's all over the place, But
I look back to Brock Bowers, to your point, George. It was kind of didn't
very
work
true.
out.
Very true.
You knew he was he was one of the best players, most surefire players in the draft a year ago. And everybody just kept finding reasons to say, okay, you don't want to be in that position again. To me, with this guy,
I agree. It's not that he's not a good player. It's that what these teams, the mistake they make is they fall in love with the traits. He doesn't grip those traits. Yep. You're right. Bowers was a beast, and they made a mistake because he looked like what? I mean, you saw him. He didn't have hair. He looked like a 35-year-old guy who worked at a car dealership. You know what I'm saying? And look at him now. And they made a mistake. If he looked like I don't know, if he was that good and looked like Elijah Arroyo, we wouldn't be having that conversation at 15.
Well, you know what? I think that, to your point, the guys that come in and these teams still value younger players. The guys that come in right away, like Graham, like Bowers, and have that impact over a 3-year period and get out of there, that says something. Because a lot of these guys don't. We're going to be talking about some guys 27 years old in a minute. So I do think that makes a difference when you could, at a young age, because not only can you get them for that first contract, you might be able to extend them and keep that player all the way until they're 30 years old.
Shout out to the list.
What's up, Liz?
I saw a little bit of their show earlier today. Great job, guys. He breaks down. Yeah, Daniel Jeremiah just dropped his famous mock draft he does the night before. He had us moving back with Denver and taking Malachi Starks. And he says,
I like that a lot. Hey,
dude,
Jason,
I tell you,
that, man. We've been talking about that for a minute.
Hey, the first guy I had on the Dolphins, when I saw him, I said, that's a Chris Greer guy. That is a Chris Greer pick.
Yeah.
Bro, so I'll be banging my head against the wall if I got off that Malachi Starks and that ends up happening. I got Malachi Starks. What I got him? I got him at 13. I like
that pick. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on that pick.
Bro, let me tell you that you see that interception he had against Clemson when he high pointed that ball.
I was at the game.
Oh, you were at it. Okay.
Yeah, I was shooting. I was like right there. It was one of my best camera shots of the year.
Oh, I put your website
eyewitness
in the description box.
I saw it, man. It was something else, man. It was I tell you what, man. That would be. It's gonna be fascinating to see where he winds up.
Yeah. So where I lost. We're having so much fun talking. I lost.
That's what we're supposed to.
We got the Bears. The Bears are about to break our hearts.
I'm gonna go. It's Banks Jr. or Mason Graham for me.
I think it's gonna be Graham.
You break the tie. I'll go Banks Jr. and let you break the tie, Corey.
Okay, you Banks Jr. versus Graham. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, man. For the purposes of this, I'm gonna go with Banks Jr.
Okay, let's do it. Let's
have some fun.
Let's do it.
I want to go with Banks Jr. Because I just feel like I don't understand how you could be that good for that long. And again, it wasn't like that in my. I had him falling, but I love him as a player. One of my favorite players in the draft.
Yeah. All right, we're going Banks Jr. We're gonna go. Kelvin Banks Jr. to the Bears at number 10.
It will make too much sense. So that's why I guess I mean, at the same time on my mock, I had Tyler Warren here.
Yeah. So Tyler's gone. Yeah. So we kept the top 10. Cameron Ward, Hunter, Carter, Campbell, Genty, M'Bu, Warren, Walker, Sanders, Banks. We're at 11 here. This is an interesting spot here, 11 with the Niners. I've heard a lot of edge talk here and D-line talk. Two guys I heard the most here are Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan, but also Mikael Williams is there.
Yeah, that's who I had in mind was Mikael Williams.
Mikael?
But I mean, look, I know we've had some different picks here. Out of who all is still left on? We
here
still
it is.
Graham on the board and
how far do you want me to go down? About right here? Yeah.
Graham, McMillan. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a pretty good group of guys still left on the board.
Where do they have Will Johnson on here?
He was there. He was
there. I saw him. Yeah, he was definitely there. Yeah. I think Will Johnson's a possibility here.
Yeah.
I do feel like though they've made enough moves, I guess, in the secondary to feel comfortable maybe waiting on that position. But if you feel like he can give you a different presence, I think that would be the same. As maybe taking somebody like a Mikael Williams who gives you that length and what you desire in your defensive ends and defensive linemen in general.
Yeah. So I go, man, there's so much Walter Nolan noise here. Yeah, it's high for me for Walter Nolan.
Me too.
I thought about that a lot too. I had him there for all the way. I changed it later.
Yeah. So Nolan, Williams, or Shamar Stewart, I think are the three. I think they want edge and interior pass rush help. We have Mason Graham. I think they like Nolan more than Graham. And some teams do, I heard. But I'm gonna go Walter Nolan. Jason.
Okay.
I was surprised to see him go up this high because I think there might be some concern for it to be this high. I love him in the 20s, but I think Mikael Williams might be safer. But I'm not going to go against the grain if you two want Nolan. I'm throwing in my little.
We'll go Corey. Who's your guy? Out of those,
I'm going to stick with Michael Williams there, and I'll tell you, and it's kind of what we just got through talking about. I like Nolan, and I think he's a good fit for a number of teams in the first round. Williams is the longer player, and he's also one of the top 3 run defending defensive ends in the
he's
draft.
Got a really good. He's safe too. Really good.
Absolutely.
And he played. Remember, he played on that with that ankle last year. So even his tape wasn't as good. A lot of it could be, a lot of it could have been from that injury. So yeah. He's
got a long way to go as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
I think that the moves
he's young,
not refined. Yeah. He's got to come up with a secondary pass rush counter. That's something that's going to be a factor for him. But I think when you're in that system with those longer defensive players, that's what works in the San Francisco system. And remember, who's coming back to be the coordinator on defense.
Right. So and at the very least he's going to stop the run day one for you on the edge, which
no doubt about it.
All right, we'll go with your guys. You both agree on Michael. We'll go Michael Williams here. All right, number 12, Dallas. I think it's obvious here.
I think it's McMillan.
Yeah, I think it's McMillan.
Yeah, I love that.
That's Jerry Jones. That's a Jerry Jones special right there. To pair receivers, get two big playmakers. Lamb and McMillan. Absolutely.
You disagree, Corey?
No, I don't. I think that's exactly who I had him taking in the draft that I did.
Let's do McMillan here. Okay, now, we're at the Dolphins pick.
I think that there's already a party at the Elbow Room in Las Olas
not as much for me, but it's a good party. But hey,
there's
Corey,
choices.
Corey, I got Will Johnson as a number 5 player for me. Tape alone. You were a former defensive back. What are your thoughts on Johnson and then Barron? Because it's got to be in the conversation here at number 13.
I think Barron, and I've had exposure. I've seen both of them play live in person. I felt like Barron, the first time I went to see him play was 2022. He was playing nickel.
Nickel, yeah.
So we just got through talking about it. If a school believes you're something, don't try to convince me that you aren't that. And even this year, if you watch them on video, some third downs, he's lined up at the Mike linebacker, faking a blitz. He can play. He played one game. He started at safety. I think people need to understand he's going to give you a Swiss Army knife effect, Barron, whereas Johnson is an outside corner. So that's what you're deciding between. If you're going to get Barron, then maybe he can do some of the things that Ramsey did with the Rams, playing all over the place a little bit. But that's what you're going to get, the difference between the two. And neither of them are long. In fact, even though you got Johnson at 6'2", he's only got 30 and 1/8 inch arms. And I think Barron's is maybe 29 and 5/8 inch arms, so a 7/8 inch. So neither one of them are longer corners from that perspective.
So here's the thing for me about Barron. I like his film, but I get scared with the Swiss Army knife, man. I know you played, but like he's had 1 year experience at outside corner. Like you said, they started him at nickel. He played. I mean, he's played multiple spots. He is a Swiss Army knife. The true outside, you would say the better outside corner is Johnson, correct?
That's he's exactly right.
His plant and drive ability for a guy with that size, he's 1 yard ahead, man. You know what I mean? Like he's in zone. People mistake. He's not really a press corner. He's really good at off man zone, right?
He is. I think you've got a real good feel for what he does. He's a multiple scheme guy. Played in multiple schemes, played with Mike McDonald. Yeah. Then you had Wink Martindale come over. You see him the second week of the season. They're playing cover 2 against USC. They're disguising the coverage. He jumps the quick out to the flat, takes it to the house. Yeah. Those are the types of things that he can give you. He's got experience in an NFL scheme. But I will say this. Yeah. When you're playing with a guy like Pete Kwiatkowski, like Barron has played with the last couple of years, I have as much respect for him as a coordinator as anybody in the country. So Barron has done a lot of different things too.
Yeah. Who would you on just tape, not injury concern? Who would you have higher?
Out of those two?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the bigger player, Will Johnson.
Yeah. So same here. All right. So everybody, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Come on over if you're watching on Twitter. Come on over to YouTube. We're at the Dolphins pick 13. The board's interesting, Jason. Give me your thoughts here looking at it. He's
got to break the tie. You got to break
Wait.
Yes.
We got some Michigan. Look at Stephen Ross is in heaven right now.
Stephen Ross is making calls right now to the war room, if he's not already in there with his maize and blue hat. But if
he's got 2 of them to pick from, though, right?
3 of them if he wants to go off. But here,
you want to know who McDaniel's choice is? That third one.
Well, lovely, right? But McDaniel's got no say in this pick, I don't think, right now. But listen, if I'm asking the room, if we're joking around and being in the war room or the chat, right? I'm gonna go from Barron up. What is the problem with selecting Barron? And George, to what your point is, do we want a Swiss Army knife? We already have a Cater Co who is our nickel. We paid him to come back to be our nickel. So there might be identity concerns or the ability to play outside. That's my one. Yeah, but Barron's got this issue. So if I'm going with what's wrong with Will Johnson, the knee is scaring me right now for 13. This is a pick that can't miss. And if somebody has, I like to joke around with the Dolphins, wording or aqua wording, harpoon to head. If someone literally has a harpoon to my head and asking who the Miami Dolphins should pick out of these 3, Graham, Barron, or Johnson, I can't talk negatively enough or any about Mason Graham. There's no concerns to me there. I think he's as steady as a pick can get at this juncture because those question marks with injury to Johnson and the Barron versatility or overall size, as Corey alluded to, I think that Graham is a gift at 13. I don't think you could trade out because you can't justify passing on one of these 3 guys, I would say.
Chat saying Graham, we got a Kenneth Grant.
Uh-oh.
We got a Kenneth Grant.
Hey, listen,
I saw that.
Jason, Kenneth Grant, I actually like Kenneth Grant as much for the Dolphins as Graham. You know what I mean? But I think the floor's higher with Graham. He's the safest pick. We need guys who can come in. We can't forget about the 2 safeties, Emon Wari and Starks, too. I'm going to lean toward Graham, though.
But let me go to the culture, the change of the culture. And I know that could be cliche or whatever, but if you want, who is the number 1 dog on the Miami Dolphins? It's Zach Sealer. If you replicate Sealer in the junior form of him, high motor, physicality, relentless, you're getting a carbon copy on the same line. 2-3 techs to maybe combine on a 3-person, 3-4 line in the interior. I love it. Throw Benito Jones in the middle there, and the rotation starts.
Yeah, you're getting also, Graham's a lot like Wilkins, so you saw what it looks like with Sealer and Wilkins. Both of those guys were close to double-digit sacks, if I'm not mistaken. So
19.5 combined 2 years ago.
I think this is a safe gift for Chris Greer. Christmas came early for him. I'm going to go Mason Graham, even though I like all the Michigan guys here, and I'm not excluding Loveland. I like all of them, including Grant and Barron. I would have leaned a little bit towards Banks. Maybe he would have been in the conversation for me here at 13. I'm going to go Graham. Jason, you're going Graham. Corey, Graham?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we like – he's a tone setter.
Yeah, let's go. The Dolphins start their draft really good here.
Now, I will say this, Dolphin fans, and Corey, I'd love your opinion on this before we move on. They start their draft really good, but with the amount of money that they're going to have to pay 10 rookies, I don't think they draft 10 players. I think they draft 8. I would hope that they trade up into the 32 to 40 range and get one of those best remaining cornerbacks. Let's see how this board falls in the first round. Yeah. And then we'll talk about it because there's depth, Corey. I know you said there's depth. There's 100% depth, but I feel like it's top heavy with who could start day one.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you right there, Jason. And I feel like that's one of the dilemmas you have when you have draft capital. How do you use it most effectively? Because if you move up to get somebody in the second round, were they below that top tier that you're talking about? So that's where the decision-making comes in, and it's very imperative that you make the right choice.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we're at 14 with the Colts. I think this is Loveland.
Loveland.
Yeah, I don't think we got to take much time here.
That's a run up the pick. Pick was already made.
Okay, 15, I think it's an edge player here.
I think Stewart goes well here. I think I could see that. I could just see the
I could see Green, though. I could see Green here.
That's true, too.
Or even Pierce.
I'm in the Pierce camp, so I'm going to let y'all decide this.
I'll go. Yeah.
I just can't take – to me, I feel like he's got a lot of untapped potential. I do think he may slide, so I'm going to let y'all pick this one. I had Pierce going to Atlanta. I think he'd be a good fit there.
What are your thoughts about Green?
I think he's got everything that you want from. Only thing that concerns me a little bit when you're battling these tackles and you're doing it with 8.5-inch hands or 9-inch hands, whatever. That to me was something like, and I don't think that that's that big of a deal because he has some good speed to power. But I do think that's a little bit of a concern for me in terms of comparing those two players. Yeah, and not as long, not quite as long. He's 6'2", about 251. He's got good size. I'm not really concerned about his size at all.
Yeah.
Or his explosiveness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's what do you have, like 16.5 sacks?
Yeah. So I mean, the productivity is there. Everything is there. Played well against Ohio State. If that's the barometer you want to use. Went down to the Senior Bowl. It just depends on which guy is more your flavor. For me, it's Pierce.
Jason?
I'm doing the same exact thing as a guy asking what's the problem with this guy. And it seems like there might be the least amount of potential problem with Pierce. So,
we'll go Pierce. I'd
go Pierce because if I'm asking the question to my director of scouting, to the security guy, the one who's doing, what do I have the least amount of problem with? What's my insurance premium here?
Right. Yeah, we got.
I got a lot of anxiety, Corey.
So you're going.
Anxiety.
I'm feeling you. Like, I guess it's just, I guess it's just one of those things that we just. I'm more comfortable, even though they said that, they got some stuff with Pierce too, but not, what is it, driving? I can deal with you having
So the security guy came in the room, the red flag, we took him off the draft board? Is he all
No, he's the guy.
Enough time, I don't think Jason does, maybe to vet this situation. So
I know, I've heard it. It wasn't good.
I'll go with Pierce here.
Right.
I like Pierce standing up.
I don't want something coming out on draft night.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
shout out to the security directors for the NFL teams working overtime. Favorite character in draft day.
You like Pierce standing up, right?
Yeah, I like him standing up. I like him with his hand. Incredible get off. Sometimes
his power
does not finish sack opportunities. That was my problem.
But his speed to power is impressive, man. You know what I mean?
I think so. I mean, I think it's underrated. I do think he's underrated. You watched that Alabama game this year. The only player to personally show he could handle athletically, Jalen Milroe. What I'm saying in some of those situations. I thought that game was a dominant game. I was at that game as well, and I thought he had a dominating game and got Milroe off kilter. The reason Tennessee beat Alabama.
All right, so we're at 60. I think this is a corner spot. When are we going to stop the slide here, Will Johnson? Because for me, if the medicals were an issue, he'd be up at 13. He'd be up at 7. He'd be up in a lot of spots. 11. I'm going to go Will Johnson here. They need a corner.
So you're talking about Will? Arizona, right?
Arizona now.
Yeah, I would venture away from that here. That's just me though, but I'm gonna let y'all break this one.
No, go ahead.
I just believe that Arizona's got a lot of corners. Now, obviously, you're wondering, do you think any of them are top frontline guys? But I think when you look at the depth and how they've drafted, they've done an excellent job, I think, of building their cornerback room. And you probably have, I think, with Garrett Williams, one of the more underrated nickelbacks in the league. Played outstanding football last year.
Good point.
And then you got a pretty good year out of Sean Bunting, who you signed last year in free agency. You start looking up and down their lineup. They've got a lot of corners who played well. I think they've got to get better on the interior offensive line and the interior defensive line. They've got to concentrate on that. And they've got to get Matthew Golden here. I just think they need a speed element to complement Harrison.
That's true. But remember who their coach is. Gannon, he was a DB coach.
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's going to be tough to pass on Will Johnson. I get it.
I'm going to go Will Johnson. You're going to go Matthew Golden. Jason, your turn to break the tie.
I'm going to, again, I hate being the rinse and repeat here, but this knee thing scares
me. Or Barron's in play here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. That's a good point.
I like Barron here, and I'm asking myself this if I'm Arizona. Can I get a guy like Barron next round, or can I get a guy like Golden next round? I'm not a big Golden fan. I love the way he's risen up boards. I feel like he's spiked probably heaviest amongst wide receivers. I kind of like Barron here. I kind of like Barron to throw that wrench in, where it's almost like
about that though is what are you going to do with Garrett Williams now? If he's this excellent nickelback, and now you're going to play Barron on the outside, the thing we talked about earlier. I think they'll figure it out though. I kind of And they had a lot of defensive backs when he was in Philadelphia that played all over the place. So I could see it working.
Hey, let me throw a wild card. What about Campbell here?
Oh, say that again?
Jahad Campbell.
Oh, I like Jahad Campbell here too. I've had another spot for him here in the first round.
Okay.
Same here.
I do think that there's some. I think there's a little bit of a fit there potentially, but
okay. So you said you'd go with who would you go with here? Golden. I guess
that was my pick. That's why I said I'm gonna let y'all break the time.
Yeah, you said Barron.
I think it would be very 2025 draft to have Barron go first because of the knee concerns to Johnson. I'm going 24 hours, 48 hours. Last week I'm all about Will Johnson, but I'm worried. I'm worried about a first.
As a player, I go Will Johnson 10 out of 10. But
I can't lie to you though. You just brought up an excellent point about that Campbell, just because of the fact that when you think about Akeem Davis-Gaither having a man one of those inside backer spots and then being able to add to your pass rush. I mean, I think you've tempted me to maybe try to go make a late change.
Defensive coordinator jumping on the table.
Pretty good, man. I gotta give you some credit. That was fire.
I know. I just saw it.
I like that. That was big.
You know what?
It doesn't take me much to move off of Golden, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not high. I don't see 4.29 on tape, brother. I don't
see that either. I'm not gonna lie. But I do think they just need a different time. But back-to-back years. The other thing about what you said, I was thinking, back-to-back years, goal first round at receiver.
Yeah. So you're going Campbell now. You're going.
Yeah, I'm gonna make.
I almost have to go with.
I'm changing it.
Corey,
I got on the Campbell right.
We're going Campbell. We almost got to do it. Corey came in the room, banged on the table. I whispered in his ear a little bit. I said, "Hey, get in our GM's ear. Convince him." He convinced him.
Hey man, for real, that was nice.
This is one of those things in Corey.
Golden though.
Golden, I don't think he'll fall far, but I think 33 to 50. There's gonna be a lot of receivers. Boom, receiver run.
Yeah.
All right, let's go Campbell then.
Yeah.
All right, Cincinnati at 17.
You gotta go defense.
That might be the sneaky pick of the first round right there. That last one, y'all did a good job on that one. I can't.
All right, so Arizona, they got to go. I think they got to get. Should we put Mike Green here
for Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Oh, Cincinnati. We just did Arizona, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati. Sorry, yeah. I'm looking at we got to look down here.
You got Barron off the board. We got Barron off the board earlier, right?
No, Barron's still here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a better. Cincinnati's got to be able to stop somebody defensively. Again, now their issues, I think, were more of an inability to really get it. You're right about getting after the passer, and I guess Green is where you're going.
Yeah, and the whole Henderson contract situation, he didn't sign, right? Not the last time I checked.
But I think you got to think. I think their secondary has some question marks in terms of the stability on the outside at corner too.
Yeah, so I think one of the two. I mean, I just hate seeing. It hurts me to see Will Johnson still on the board. I'm going to be interested if he goes early in this draft. It was all smoke. This whole long-term knee injury. But if he falls down, it's the knee. But I think the two corners or an edge rusher here. I'm going to lean Mike Green. But I just have I'm looking at us realistically. Are Johnson and Barron going to be on the board? Maybe it's like, you remember last year, we thought Quinyon Mitchell and Terry and Arnold, and where'd they go? And I said on my podcast, I didn't have a YouTube back then on that draft, but I said, if you really want to talk about the best player, Dolphins should have took one of those corners last year. That would have been nice right now. With
Mitchell certainly had an excellent year.
I'm going to go Green. We'll go with you, Jason, then you, Corey, and your pick.
I think to pick an edge rusher in the first round and get that potential fifth year out of him, especially with potentially losing Hendrickson, or it looks like that's going to happen. I think it's a smart pick. Pure pass rusher, could lead rookies in sacks. Boom, Mike Green.
All right, well, that takes my vote completely out of it.
Who was your vote anyways?
No, John A. Barron was who I had. But the reason why
you can convince me on that. You can convince me on that.
Well, I mean, the John A. Barron, I think, gives them some versatility. They thought they were going to be getting that a couple years back And I just don't think it's worked out with Daxton Hill. Now, he obviously had the injury last year, and I thought he had a decent rookie year. But, for where they picked him and what they expected from him, they've got to continue to add more pieces to see if the experiment does work out. And then I think they're getting a little bit to the point where Cam Taylor-Britt, which player are you going to get week to week? So I just think they lack some. Josh Newton was good for him as a rookie, but I think they're going to need some help in the secondary. Major help.
This is a tough one.
It's swaying me. I'm going to Corey on this one because I don't like seeing both these corners on the board either. Green. Oh boy.
I just think with the Hendrickson situation.
Yeah.
Your show, your call on this one, George.
No.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair point. I mean, you got decent play out of DJ Turner a year ago. I look at him as more of a slot corner, so maybe that would be, he played on the outside some last year, had his struggles too. But again, another one of these 4-2 corners, so we don't need to get too caught up in just speed all the time.
Yeah, he was fast. What did he 4-2? He was like 4-2-3 or 4 something like that.
Yeah.
He could move, huh? All right. Jason, your pick is
I liked Green because it makes sense to me, but if we're going over more need and what the team could actually do more with,
who would y'all rank as the better prospect, though?
I think Barron's the better.
I have Barron. I look at
that's why I think we got to go back to it. That Barron, Green. Who's the better? Who would y'all have if you had to pick? Who was the better?
Okay, player? Here's the thing. I have Barron at 16, Green at 19 on my board.
I'm gonna go Barron. Close. We'll go Barron just because
we'll go Barron.
Well, I mean, take the best player available if this is Barron.
All right.
Now I'm way off the rocker on Seattle. I probably got a guy that's like 50.
I got a guy that I can fix.
Is he an interior O-lineman?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let's shout out the small schools. Gray Zabel is going to be the pick here.
Hey, we got Tyler Booker's still on the board.
I know, but I love Zabel's ability to play 4 positions, maybe even 5. I think that he is the Swiss Army knife on the offensive line. Settle him in at one of those interior positions, and just in case, you got a guy who could do it all. I just like this kid. I really thought he had a terrific overall scouting process. And again, I'm going to do a shout out to the small schools here. Let's get one of those guys in over the big school guys.
Just looking down the list here. Anybody else? We got to remember Brooke, because this is their ranking. Sometimes we think it's like it's our own board, but you got to look down. Like Booker, Kenneth Grant's still there.
I'm playing the part of the wily offensive line coach, 30 years in the league, who's like, I love this guy. I love this guy.
You want to give him – I agree with Zabel. Is he the best player on my board? No. But is he the right fit for them? I don't have a good feel for Seattle. I'll go with you on Zabel. Corey?
I think the only thing that could break the tie for what Jason said, there was, for me, Oluwatimi as not – I'm not that surprised, but it hasn't necessarily been that he's a surefire thing. They're still trying to figure out whether or not he's the guy. And then when you talk about that positional versatility, they had some injuries last year that they had to overcome. And I think that kind of breaks the tie right there from my perspective. Zabel's ability to play. I don't think he's the best player either. I actually don't even think he's the best guard, right there.
Booker, yeah.
I think the best guard isn't Booker either. I think it's Donovan Jackson, and he's also had some positional versatility. But I think Zabel may give you the most comfort right there if you're the Seahawks.
Yeah, and Jackson, hey, when he took over for I love Josh Simmons. If he wasn't hurt, Josh Simmons, his lateral ability and ability to mirror is probably the best of it. He'd be up there at the top for me. But Jackson looked good at tackle too, didn't he? When he took over.
He looked very good at tackle. And I think that versatility was against a little – because don't forget, Zabel played left tackle too. But all of a sudden, I was at both of their national championships. And to me, I just felt like Donovan Jackson's performance was incredible down the stretch.
I'll go.
He's a can't-miss player. Yeah, I like Donovan Jackson.
He's a good trade-down possibility for the Dolphins in the 20s. He could play that left guard, and if Paul doesn't work out, you could put him at left tackle. All right, I'll go. Jason has the conviction. We're going to go with that. I'll agree with him. We'll go Zabel here. We'll have a little fun.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's a big possibility he actually can go here. And he's versatile. So Zabel. All right, 19 Tampa. This is my brother's favorite. My youngest brother's favorite team. He's a Buccaneers fan.
Okay.
So he follows all. He told me some names. Here's the guys I think are in play with them. I think the corners are in play. Either one. I think Golden's in play here.
Interesting. I like that fit.
Yeah, because the receivers they're getting age. They need speed at that. They have the big physical Mike Evans. How long he's not playing much longer, right? So who do you like out of there? We'll start with you, Corey. Give me the names you like for them at 19. I would have went Campbell here.
Yeah, that was who I had him taking was Campbell, and I feel like that's something that's a position that they can address. You could also argue that the edge position is another position that they're going to have to address. So it really just comes down to which one.
Yeah, we got Stewart, we got Green.
You got Stewart, you got Green, and Green still being on the board right now.
Yeah,
because you also still have Pierce on the board. Right?
Because Pierce went to Atlanta.
We took Campbell.
You took Pierce to Atlanta. Yeah.
So Pierce is still on the board as well as.
I'll give you the edges. Edge is Stewart, Green, Izuruku, Scorton. I don't like any of these guys past Green.
Where's Pierce at? He's not.
We went Pierce to Atlanta. There was less about him.
You didn't go Campbell. I thought we went Campbell to Atlanta.
No, we went Arizona.
Campbell to Arizona, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
You remember you like the whole Arizona thing?
So if that's the case, then if we still with the guys that we have on the board right here, I would probably go Green now.
You go Green. I would go. Man, Will Johnson's enticing there.
Yeah, that's a big guy to pass on. I don't think it looks like you've got Will Johnson rated higher than Green. Pretty easy to see.
Yeah, it's the only thing is the injuries, the medicals. That's why I wouldn't have him going. We're not.
I can't see him passing on him, bro. I mean,
I'm gonna go Will Johnson here, man. Jason, what about you?
A couple of picks down the line, it wouldn't surprise me if Johnson fell to have a former college coach in Harbaugh say, "I'm not letting this
I got you.
I'm thinking storyline.
I got another Michigan guy for them.
I'm thinking.
I got a Michigan guy for them. I got a big Michigan guy for them.
I think that with
I did too. I had Grant doing that.
Yeah, I got Grant going there.
Yeah.
As long as it's Michigan, I'm fine. But I don't want to see Johnson fall down. But I think that with them probably thinking Jihad Campbell, and now missing out on him, they're probably still thinking defense, maybe in that front seven. So it's either, to me, Green or Shamar Stewart. But I like Green here. I think Green can be a good pick.
I'm taking Green. Yeah, I would take.
Right, we'll go Green. Yeah. I don't hate it. Mike Green, the pick for the Bucks. All right, pick 20, Denver. Ooh, Denver's a trade-up candidate. Man, I hear a lot of running back. I hear a lot of receiver there. But, boy, there's some guys on the board. Man, hey, PS2 and Will Johnson?
Ooh.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like, did they think that in any way that the board would take out like this?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you got – if he's healthy, you put PS2 on one side and this guy on the other, man – they could go. I could see. I could see the receivers. I think they might like Ibuka, or Golden here, and we got to look at the edge of Stewart. Boy, running back. What do you think about Hampton?
That's who I had going there.
Yeah, I know they D-line.
I went with all boring picks for the first round.
There's a lot of buzz on running back there. I like Hampton. Hampton's my 23rd ranked player. So this is kind of his range, but it's hard not to creep in. Here's the problem with these mock drafts is you got your own scouting opinion and then you got what you think might happen.
You kind of got that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty of it, though. And I think that's the thing I like about it. Gets so many different people involved, and I feel like that union of so many different ideas is like it's just great. I've always kind of felt that way. So it makes you think about it even more. That's what makes it fun. Yeah. I do think that Denver, though, when you start looking at that the combination you just talked about with Surtain and now potentially Will Johnson, that has to be enticing.
Yeah, Jason, where are you going? Where are you leaning towards here?
If Johnson was off the board I'd be running the pickup from Omari and Hampton. I think he's an every down back. Denver needs a running back. The intrigue of matching Johnson with Surtain is very, very intriguing. So I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there and asking, can we get a running back later for Denver, or can we get a lot? You know, cut. So
yeah, you could get a running back. I just think that you risk the chemistry. One of the better defenses in the league. Let's don't forget that. Really excellent defense last year. And really at this point, I feel like they can't go on. Right now, you're going into the season with McLaughlin as the starting running back right now.
They need a running back.
They need to help
you cannot go into the season with a 5'8".
Yeah.
I just
you're right.
They got to help
Hampton.
Yeah, they got to help Bo Nix, man.
100%.
As much as I love Will Johnson, they got to. I think the injury concerns is what's dropping him. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna lean towards Hampton. You convinced me, Corey. Here,
likewise.
All right. Let's go, Omari and Hampton here at number 20.
And he's a really good player too.
Oh, I love him.
Every situation.
It's not that much. I mean, there's some really good backs in this draft too. Like, it's just amazing to me that you've got this big of a crop of running backs. It was incredible.
Yeah. All right. So we are at, what pick are we on? We are on
quarterback pick
21 here.
Steelers.
Ooh, are we going?
I think it's a quarterback.
Now, this is where I had Nolan, but Nolan, we got him off the board, right?
No, Nolan's still around.
Still around.
Me, I think Nolan's a pretty good fit here now, because you guys start thinking about a replacement in that 3-4 defense for Cam Hayward. He can learn under him for a year, learn some tricks of the trade. Now, if you're thinking about quarterback, then throw me out, and I want to hear y'all go one-on-one.
I'll go.
Corey's out of the quarterback right now.
I'll go Milrow here.
No, I don't like quarterbacks anyway.
I hear that.
I'll go Milrow if it was a quarterback.
Listen. If it
really,
was a quarterback,
I got Milrow going in the 3rd round to them at 93 or 83.
Here's the thing. I don't like this quarterback class, but I said this. I want the guy who has a small. It might be small, but the percentage he hits. I don't see a lot of quarterbacks with like really good starting, like elite starter ability. He's not going to, obviously he still reads one half of the field. I know that, but man, he's probably the best running quarterback since Lamar. And he's got some touch on his deep. Like there's a little bit more there in the passing that people give him credit for. I wouldn't touch a quarterback here in the 1st round, but if I'm going, I'm not a Jackson Dart fan. I think
you could, you know what though? I think you bring up a good point, what you were just saying, G, because like, think about one player out of all the quarterbacks that people thought couldn't play that had an excellent season last year. And I'm not talking about Jalen Hurts. I'm talking about Malik Willis. If it wasn't for Malik Willis, they don't make the playoffs, right?
I love Malik coming out.
He wins. Well, I guess they did. He wins 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Last year, that's the only reason they had a winning record. So I just feel like that. In my opinion, man, you got to kind of like let these things play out.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that, to me, could potentially still be a starter in this league.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't touch. When I say Milrow, that's telling me which guy would. But I wouldn't touch any of these quarterbacks until the 50s or 60s starting. The rest of them on the board. That's for me. But if you're telling me I wouldn't go quarterback, I like your Walter Nolan pick here a lot, and I think they would have been in play for Hampton. I don't think Henderson fits them as much. I think Hampton would have been Henderson actually fits Denver to very
he does. I do agree. In fact, I had him there the first time I did it.
Yeah.
And I think I went back and forth with that. And then you realize that Hampton, when I went back and looked at Hampton, the success that he's had catching the ball out of the backfield severely underrated in school. Yeah. Now, I don't think he's as good in pass protection as either Henderson or Judkins, and that could be a little bit of a concern, but I still think you can get creative with Hampton.
Yeah, I'm going to go Nolan here. Jason?
I can't argue it.
Let's go Nolan.
Argue it. The quarterbacks are not that good to argue it over a player who could be great. Fits the Steelers mold to a T, I feel like, from a player's
22,
standpoint.
I'm going to go Kenneth Grant. Anybody disagree with that?
No, that's who I
perfect fit. It's a perfect fit. We'll get Johnson selected soon.
Yeah. 23 Green Bay.
Maybe even here.
Could we go corner here? Could we go Harrison?
They've got to get, again, this is another team that I feel like has to.
What about Golden?
I think one of the best players available left on, I don't know if it's on your board, but Derek Harmon. I think he's one of the best players.
I like Harmon. I'm not as high on Harmon as well. You like the pass rush ability, right?
No, I just think overall what he can bring to the table, how light he is on his feet, his ability to run line games with some effectiveness at that. I think he's going to be a better pass rusher, maybe even than Grant. I don't think he always plays heavy as you would expect for somebody at that 315 pounds, but he's strong. I like this film even at Michigan State.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like he's behind Nolan for me. And Grant.
He's right in this group though.
Yeah, it makes sense with this run, like a mini run. Boom, boom, boom.
Exactly. That's exactly where I had him. Nolan, Grant, Harmon.
Boom, boom. Let's keep
do it. Let's do it. Derek.
Now, if you were gonna go corner there, I just want to ask y'all something. Are you considering
Hairston?
Will Johnston versus a healthy Hairston?
Yeah, I am.
Hairston.
I am. I like Hairston. There's some noise here with him at 23. You like you obviously like the athleticism there, but obviously Will Johnson, I think, is a better player. But it's the medicals. We're not privy to that. That's the issue. I mean, we got to stop the Will Johnson slide soon. But
this has been a pretty major slide.
Yeah. boy, if he gets
a couple of mocks had him at the very end of the first round.
If he gets to like one of these teams at the end, if he gets to Philly. He's not getting to Philly or Kansas City or Buffalo. We're not allowing that.
No. I think we should. This is a good potential. The Packers are thinking corner. I think this is a gift pick for them if he stays healthy. If he's healthy.
Yeah, but we don't have the medical, so I think that is a little bit of a risk.
Yeah, that's that. We don't have it. And if he fell this far, it's because the medicals are.
That's it.
Are bad. So where's the risk stop? Where is the risk?
I think it's second round. If you get down into the 20s, I think that you got a good chance to go second round, and then you're going to group yourself with that next group of corners, especially since Barron is already off the board.
All right, so let's put it to vote quick. I'm gonna go Johnson. Corey,
I don't have a problem with Johnson here because I had him going at 13.
We got to stop the slide.
Yeah,
all right. I think we do Johnson.
Slide, yeah. I don't want him going to those,
Hey, he gets on a playoff-ready team, and he could be.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
there's gonna be a lot of pressure on them with as much single high as they play cover 3. Man, they mix it up there. I like the pressure they put on their corners, so we'll see what happens.
All right, Minnesota Coach Flo.
Safety.
He would love a Malachi Starks here.
Agreed.
I'm gonna go Harmon or Starks. I'm gonna go Starks.
I like Starks here. That's a flow pick.
Yeah, my big thing for Minnesota is addressing the interior offensive line, but I think you can address that in the second round with the players that we have left on the board. The way it shook out, it looks like to me that would be the best pick.
Yeah. So who do you have between Emanwari and Starks? Who do you like? You have them close?
I think Starks is the best safety in the draft.
Yeah, I'm going to go Malachi Starks here.
100%.
And the other guy that I had here before was Gray Zabel. I really think that he could be an impactful player. I know we already have him on our board, but he could be an impact. He could also have an impact here on that interior offensive line. They're going to attack that interior offensive line. That's what they've been doing all offseason in free agency. I think they continue that theme. It may not be here, but I think at some point in the draft.
All right, so we're at pick 25. Everybody, we're here live with Corey Chavous, former NFL defensive back. You can check him out at draftnastymagazine.com. All his work and great content. Obviously, Jason Sarney's here and myself. Come on over to YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching on X, come on over here and join us on YouTube. We appreciate it. All right, this is an O-line spot, right? This could be – I like Josh Simmons. I'm in Simmons and Jackson here. Who do you like better, Corey? I know you're high on Jackson.
Yeah, real high on Jackson, real high on Simmons. But we've got to remember Tank Dell's injury. And we also got to remember that if some of these linemen sliding, can you take the risk of allowing going on into, because we're on Houston, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a 20. We were at pick 25. Houston.
Yeah, so I mean that's where I'm like Matthew Golden with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. I mean, I just don't.
I think they got to protect him. I think
they have to protect him now. And but Banks is gone though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about? I would say Simmons or Donovan Jackson are one of my two picks here.
I like Donovan Jackson because again, I had him higher in this round, so I'm with you on that.
I can do that. I mean,
Donovan Jackson is a really good pick to me right there.
Donovan inside, he did play obviously the left tackle spot when taking over for injury. You got to replace Laramie Tunsil or at least do your best to help protect C.J. Stroud. I like an offensive lineman here. You know, whether it's Simmons or Donovan Jackson, I'd leave to you, George. But yeah, I agree. It's got to be offensive.
You're going to go with Cam Robinson as the starter at the beginning and just have Jackson at the.
We'll give Corey. Corey has conviction on this guy. We'll give him Donovan Jackson here. I like him too. I have Simmons a little higher, but I can see the versatility. They need guard help.
I want to rewind that. If we're picking between those two for this situation,
yeah,
I know Cam Robinson gave Minnesota some good reps in the pinch last year, but that's who you've got starting right now at left tackle. So you want to get the guy who can play or is proven to play the left tackle position already, and Josh Simmons, as has Jackson. I think Simmons ranks as a better potential down the road left tackle than Donovan Jackson.
I've said this before. Healthy. When I watched tape on Donovan Jackson before Simmons got hurt, my eyes just kept going to Simmons. I mean, his ability to move laterally is just his foot cooking is special. He'd be my number one tackle if there wasn't the knee injury. Let's go. Okay, so you kind of turned back. I agree. And if you want somebody to replace Tunsil, this guy has the traits.
He definitely has the traits. I think you've got a lot of problems on that offensive line. A lot of that pressure on
you could go anywhere on that.
In the guards inside. So I think you've got some issues, period, on that offensive line. You're going to have to keep addressing that throughout the draft. That's certainly what I did.
All right, let's go Simmons here.
Good pick.
All right, next up, the Rams. Boy, they could do – what about Golden here?
They need speed at the wide receiver position.
I'm going Golden.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That's lightning.
That's faster than he ran the 40-yard dash in the combine.
All right.
Let's get it up. 4.1 ticket send up.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's
all right, Corey. Sell me away from Golden here then.
Can't do it.
Well, no, I just feel like that the one thing that the Rams have got to do, for me, the one thing the Rams have got to do at some point is draft the corner. They haven't drafted a corner in the first round. I don't know. Probably since I was there. So, and again, that was now maybe they did draft somebody in between. I'm sure they did. I'm just joking, but it hadn't been that many, and they historically haven't even had a lot of first round picks. So you've got an opportunity here to get faster in the secondary. I think they need to. I mean, right now you're kind of depending on Witherspoon to be really your number one guy to a large degree. Now you got some other guys that play pretty well. Darion Kendrick and some of those other guys have gotten reps. I think they got to address the cornerback position this year. Finally, in the first round, that's just my take.
Yeah, I've
Darius
heard tight end
Williams
here
is a
too.
good player.
I've heard tight end
from Jacksonville, but
I've heard tight end here. They want a tight end this year, but there's no tight end I would take here unless Loveland fell. I mean, who's the next guy? Mason Taylor. I'm not taking him this high. Jason, your thoughts here?
You know, if you're looking at cornerback and you're looking at speed and who's left, I'm thinking Hairston from Kentucky. But if you're looking for potential, I'm looking at Revel from Eastern Carolina. Yeah. So, you know, if you want,
I like Revel better.
Actually. I like Revel better potentially, yes. So I'll go Revel. I'll go Revel with the upside potential here.
Revel, and then
I like that. I can't not argue because he was to me the most. I thought he would have ran a 4.2, Jason.
Yeah, ball hawk. You know,
4.3.
I mean, before he got hurt, he was a ball hawk even last year in 3 or 4 games, let alone what he did.
I just think they need some speed at wide receiver, though. But again,
there's that second round they could do that, or third.
All right, so you guys want to go corner? It seems like what is it? I'll let you guys agree here, and I'll put it in. You guys, one said Hairston, Revel. Which one?
I like Revel.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go with Jason on this one.
All right, we'll go Revel.
I think Hairston is maybe you're looking at like the 34th, 5th, 6th pick, right to begin the second round.
I can see that very easily from this range all the way to there.
Baltimore.
Correct. Oh, this could be Donovan Jackson right here.
This could be Shamar Stewart too, or no?
Either one of those guys.
It could be Emon Worry,
like a T. Yeah.
Tyler Booker.
Ooh, that's a lot actually. What do you think, Corey? Best player available, or do you need here?
I can see.
Well, I think the guy that I think they've been targeting this entire offseason is Malachi Starks, but he's for this purposes of this, we've already got him off the board. So because of that, right?
Yeah.
Emon would be a beast there too, but they already.
Him and Kyle Starks will fit better with Hamilton, right?
I think so. I think
but Starks is not available, or Harmon's here.
Yeah.
Stewart,
I actually think that's something that I think Harmon would be a good fit potentially for them as well. I mean, some of the other picks I had him taking in the second round, I had him taking Alfred Collins out of Texas.
Yeah.
And then even in the third round, I had him going Smile Munden out of Georgia. I think that might even be a little high for him, but they got to get the linebacker position addressed again. So just looking at some of the other picks, you kind of get a feel. Caleb Rogers, offensive lineman from Texas Tech. So those are some of the other picks I have for them as the draft goes on.
Yeah. Jason, where's your vote for?
I could see one of four guys. I could see Harmon. I could see Emon Stewart. I could see Donovan Jackson. But, I'd like to see Harmon off the board before the Bills pick. I wouldn't want to watch Harmon against the Dolphins.
What about based on the board? And based on the fact,
Tyler Booker's a possibility.
Booker, I think if they go either Booker or Jackson, it's one of their top 2 or 3 needs. The beast of a position for a beast of a team to even help their rushing attack. That makes sense to me too.
Think Baltimore though, man. Shamar Stewart and Emon Worry. Look, Baltimore.
I just think you had your chance with Adafi Oweh a couple of years ago. Yeah. Remember his numbers.
The project.
Let's go back and look at his numbers.
He wasn't productive in college.
And I'm just telling now. Let's be honest though. Last year he did have 10 sacks.
Yeah, he was good.
So it's not like it didn't work out with him, and maybe that's the example you do use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As the proof that Stewart can work out for you.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, it was always go back to Danielle Hunter, right? When he came out last year at LSU, way back in 2014, 3.5 sacks. He ends up being one of the best sack artists in the league. So when you look at some of these guys, you don't have a lot of examples of non-sack production translating, and everybody would go to Danielle Hunter. Well, now you've got Oweh, you know what I'm saying? You've got a couple other guys who have translated in the sack at the next level that didn't get the quarterback on the ground in school.
Yeah, so this board fell well to them. Their needs are on the board here. Booker looks enticing, Emon Worry, and Stewart. Those would be the 3 for me.
I'm going to let y'all pick this one.
All right, so Jason, out of those 3, who do you like the best?
Oh man, let's go with the tiebreaker of the best player available, talent-wise and potential-wise on the board, and that's probably Stewart.
All right, let's do Stewart. Okay, next up we have the Detroit Lions.
Boy, they got a lot of players.
They would have took Stewart.
Yeah, Harmon would work, Booker would work, Jackson
would work. What are your thoughts on Ezeruco? Real productive.
Corey, I think that's your guy there too.
Yeah, I had him going there, but I think with some of these other players that might be on the board here, you definitely have your choice. I mean, it'd be hard pressed for me. The more I'm looking at this now is, can they pass on Booker in the first round? And I guess I didn't even have him going there, but just us going through this again, I'm like, okay,
I might go Booker here.
That's what I'm thinking the entire time. Now, but I do think that he limits you offensively. That's why he wouldn't necessarily be a fit for Miami.
Yeah, he's not a fit because they run
wide zone.
Yeah, they run right like us. But he could do it though. They don't always have to run like the Dolphins don't always have to run that wide zone, man.
No. And neither do they do some gap scheme stuff with Detroit as well.
It's not a great fit, but he's a good foot. He just gets it done though, man. He's one of those guys that I think we're overanalyzing. Can he play
we're not
wide zone?
overanalyzing him. I think he's good.
I mean not us. the media. Like, they overanalyze.
It was a poor broad jump. It was a poor vertical.
40
and all that
time.
stuff.
Yeah.
So if you go by that stuff, but I do feel like he would be a good fit here, and I think he would override the Ezeruaku pick.
Jason, what are you going?
I agree. It fits the mindset of the team. But we'll go with Booker. Heck of an
now, do y'all think let's one point of contention there? Can they really afford to get out of this draft with a second-tier pass rusher? Like, I mean, because in terms of production, the only guy that competes with Ezeruaku is probably Antoine Powell-Ryland with Virginia Tech. Now, you've got a couple other guys that were Mike Green is another, but you didn't have I know we talked about these guys translating. I mean, you go into the second round and you skip on the pass rusher here. Again, Detroit skips on the pass rusher. Yeah. I think that's dangerous.
I agree. Maybe they didn't think Booker would be on the board, maybe. We went Booker.
That's fine. Let's go Booker. Let's go next pick. I just wanted to throw that out.
No, you started. Yeah, no, you're right. You probably would have convinced me to switch it. All right.
Nah, you know what I mean, though. I mean, it's one of those things where Detroit, you've got some philosophical decisions to make because if you keep trying to piecemeal a pass rush together, and don't forget, one other thing about Detroit, don't discount a defensive lineman going there. Remember, Lee McNeil got hurt late in the season last year. He's going to be out. And now all you've got is a Levi Wuzarike who has a back injury problem. So I think you got some decisions to make right there defensively if you're Detroit.
All right, Washington. I think this is a spot for Ezeruaku. They need some pass rush help.
Exactly. You just let him fall into it.
That was right into their lap.
And they beat you in the playoffs. Here you go.
That's a story pick. Thank you.
We still got the corner though,
I think that the pick is edge rusher here.
Let's go. Are we on agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had Nick Emenwari going there.
We got to get him in the next couple.
The only reason
he's got to go in the first round here. All right, Emenwari.
Well, the only reason I had him going there was because I feel like the Jeremy Chen. We talked a little bit about that, Jason.
Yes, sir.
I wanted the Dolphins to get a look at.
Well, before we pick Ezeruaku, that is a really good comp to Chin and what they could use with Emenwari. Can you get someone like Emenwari in the next round, or could you get someone like Ezeruaku?
I don't think you got too many more like him.
I think you got to go Emenwari. I like
Washington, right?
Yeah. So why don't we go Emenwari? So at least we cover that base with.
Yeah, you brought up. I forgot about the Jeremy Chin thing. You brought that up. That's a good. Let's
go. Corey's been on that comp, so
yeah, you're on there. All right, we're going Emenwari. Okay, pick 30 Buffalo.
Ooh,
Harmon looks good here.
I think that would fit them.
No, I can't lie to you. That is the best pick of the first round that we've had. And they were right now. They're popping champagne in
the we just gifted the Bills.
I would have put Emenwari here.
I was gonna have Emeka Egbuka go there just because all the defensive tackles were gone. But now that y'all had it the way we did it, actually I think send me a copy of this mock.
Well, you know what?
No, I'm just playing.
No. You can just it's live.
Hey, it helps my whole day out, right?
Hey,
the whole 7-round mock over.
What I'll do is I'll send you the link to the show, and you can just scroll through it and kind of it'll be there for you.
No, it's pretty good, man. I like the way we've thought.
All right, let's go Harmon, right?
This is a heartbreaker, but I mean they're gonna get a defensive tackle. I mean one of those 4 or 5.
Yeah,
KC boy.
Hey, by the way, do you feel like Buffalo would pass on a defensive tackle at all for a receiver in round 1?
I don't think so.
No, they took one. They need the speed. I'll be honest. They do need the speed, but boy, that's a good fit for them with Derek Harmon.
Because you almost really, like you just said, you almost really took a first rounder with Coleman that early, right?
But gold is different, though. Yeah.
I mean, that would give Josh Allen something. Well, I think Shakir can run. He's a 4.4 guy, but they don't have a true, you know what I mean? They haven't had one of those in a minute.
Yeah, that was another option. I don't know. The Derek Harmon thing just stood out to me.
I like that. It would be a tough call for me because they could change the way you defend them with Golden. But again, you brought up a good point, George. I don't see that 4.2.
No, I didn't. I was shocked. I was shocked when he ran 4.29. I thought he was a 4.41 guy. 4.4.
But he does have easy speed, though. It's not like he doesn't separate from people.
And sometimes it's deceiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We saw that. All right, where are we at? Kansas City. They need some help on the offensive line.
I took Connolly here.
Yeah. Connolly or Donovan Jackson? You want to go Connolly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because they brought back, or they're not brought back, they brought in Jalen Moore. Well, I think he can work, but Kingsley Suamatia, they moved him to guard. I don't know exactly. They took him in the second round last year, remember?
Yeah.
And then that right tackle position, that's still, I think they've got some work to do there.
All right.
Even though they signed a pretty good
Connolly
player.
Going here at 31.
Got Connolly.
All right, the end of the first round.
And the best in the business that Howie's drafting right here. This could be Ezra Raku. They need an edge rusher. It could be Jackson.
What about Maxwell Harrison? No? They took 2 cornerbacks last year. But
I think they're better suited going maybe more on the trench aspect of things.
I gave him Mike Green here, but he fell in my first round.
So the thing with Harrison, I know they're still looking. Who they lose? Didn't they lose a corner? Why is his name escaping me this offseason?
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay, yeah.
So
yeah, we talk about the 2 young corners, but they still, they can still use another one. Harrison's
and we've got Harrison on the board.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you're gifting them the Harrison to go along with Kenyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
That kind of makes sense.
Might as well give them the Super Bowl again.
Let's make that the pick. That's the kind of pick that Howie Roseman would make, and the board would shake up.
You just gave it to him.
Pick it.
All right. We're gonna take the last pick. Are we sure?
The crazy thing about it, though, I guess my only thing about that is, like, do you offset your other draft picks? I mean, obviously Kelly Ringo was a 4th rounder. I guess you just look at him as a depth piece, because I think they got some confidence that he can start, and I think they also like Eli Ricks.
Yeah.
He's also
you can move DeJean around though,
I think they're going to continue to use him the way they do.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they like Eli Ricks to me along with
the kid, the Alabama kid.
Yeah, they like him quite a bit, and I also feel like that they still got some love for Kelly Ringo. Remember a couple years ago, everybody thought he was going in the first round.
He fell in the draft.
Yeah, but again, I don't have a problem with that pick. They've drafted well, is my point.
Yeah, it's Aruke, Golden, Harrison. I'm gonna go. My vote's Harrison, but you guys voting it. If y'all Miami, that's fine. I'm not sold on anything here.
I'm not going against the former defensive back in the league, talking about a defensive back in a secondary. So that was a sold to me. I'm gonna go with Harrison.
All right, we're going Harrison. Final. First round's over.
There it is.
Let's take a look at that. Let me do a screenshot.
Is there a link?
Steal some of these picks,
position break. Let me see. Team. Does it say all teams?
Is there a summary? Oh, there we go. All right, there it is.
There's the draft. We went Ward, Hunter, Carter, Campbell, Genty, Membu, Warren, Walker, Sanders, Banks, Mikael Williams, Ted McMillan, and the Dolphins. Mason Graham fell into their lap at 13. Colts 14 with Loveland, Pierce, Campbell, Barron, Zabel, Green, Hampton, Nolan, Grant. Will Johnson slid with the medicals at 23. Flo gets his guy in the secondary. Josh Simmons to replace Tunsil there. Ravel, the corner. Jason and Corey really banged the table for him there. We had Shamar Stewart going to Baltimore. Booker going to Detroit. Emon Wari going to the Commanders. Harmon to Buffalo. Connerly, Harrison. That's a good draft, man.
Yeah. No, I think it was. I can't wait to have that one. I'm not going to change the one I got wrong, but I think we got that one right.
We'll see. Then we get like 3 right. But this draft is so hard to predict. Do you guys want to do a 7-round Dolphin one quickly?
Let's run it back real quick. Corey, you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's run where we're only controlling the Dolphins and breeze through. We'll do a no trader. Actually,
no trader. Or
do we appease the rumor from Jeremiah and make the deal?
Hey, it's the night before the draft. When are we going to be able to do this again? We got no more nights.
That's a good point.
The gifts are already bought and wrapped, and they're under the tree. The cookies are made. Tomorrow's Christmas Day. Let's have some fun.
We're going to do Dolphins. Let's go. Speed.
Wait, go. You gotta go 7 rounds. You gotta make sure you go 7.
I'm gonna go ahead and take these and end off my 7 round. I'm gonna put them in there. and try to work around them.
Perfect.
All
Day
right.
3 is my favorite day. Dolphins got 7 day 3 picks.
All right. I'll wait for him to hit the.
Are we up?
Are
we on 7 rounds?
Yep. 7
All right,
rounds.
let's rock and roll.
Okay. All right. Let's load it up. All right. Ooh. Let's see what in front of us. So Genty, Graham went 5. So Genty,
right.
Campbell, Walker, Membu, Banks, McMillan. So this is pretty. It's not bad. This stick to the model. Shout out to those guys at sticktothemodel.com. It's pretty. It's you don't see like in the other ones we had. You could get like a player in the 3rd round that's probably going in the 2nd round.
Not here.
Yeah, here's more realistic. All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the board. We're gonna look at any trade options. All right, we got 4 trade offers. Ooh, I like this one.
Arizona's a great deal.
Hey, wait. We need a pick from 48 to 98. We have a gap. They're giving us 78. All right, right in between.
I like that.
What are your thoughts on this? Let's look at the board again. We have Will Johnson there.
So these are what this simulation has left on the board?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're simulating calling us for a trade right now.
We have trade offers. Teams. Is there anybody I would move down to 16 here?
I'd move down and hope that Barron or Johnson are there and pick one of them. Whoever we decide. We're only moving down 3 picks to gain.
Yeah, I don't have any problem moving.
Yeah, look, and we get 78, guys.
We need to keep a relatively high 1st round pick.
Yes.
Because we've got enough picks where we don't need to move down that much.
Correct. Yeah, and in real life, I don't think you can get by 17 or 18 with having one of the corners still there if you want to play that game.
No, not at all.
And we like I mentioned, we have a gap between 48 and 98.
Siberia.
Yeah, this let's accept this offer. You guys down, GM?
Let's do it.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
We'll probably get
corners is going to be
boom.
Ooh. Yeah.
I would say we pick Barron and call it a day and have an extra capital.
All right, let's think about this. We got the safeties. We got Kenneth Grant.
I think right here
we go Barron.
Any more trade offers?
Trade
he want. Corey. Right, this is draft day here. Corey's in draft day mode. All right,
I just think. I mean, so
Too
we
far
can
back.
move down.
I don't love these offers.
Too far back, I feel like.
Let me ask you something. Do y'all think if we take 16 from Green Bay, that we can get?
No, they're giving us 23.
23.
If we move down, we could probably have one of the safeties, but again, it's that corner problem.
Do we have to get out of the 1st round with a corner?
I would say in this particular model.
Because
right now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Do we love? Here's 23. Do we love Barron enough? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. Do we love Jahad?
I love Starks more than Barron. What do y'all think?
So we can get Starks with that pick probably. If we go down to 23,
that's a risk.
We've had 78 and we'll have 87 games. And
let me say this. I think if we're looking for the least amount of risk, we already got our pick capital. That's nice. And if you're looking at a better player, between the safety and the cornerback, I'll go Starks.
But let me ask you a question, Jason. You brought this up earlier. You said that we don't really care where we're at right now because you weren't going to take Will Johnson with the knee injury anyway, correct? So it didn't matter that he's off the board now.
Correct.
So my point is, would you have taken? Why didn't we take? We didn't take Barron in the original mock. Remember?
Correct.
So why do we care if he's off the board? Well, we've got a bunch of guys that might have to go off the board right here before we even get to starts. So I guess that's my point. Now, who did we end up with in our mock draft that we did with Miami?
Graham.
We played the Graham card because he was off the board now. Yeah,
you didn't care about it. Okay.
Exactly. You got me.
Right. Okay. Text on that. I got you.
I mean, 24 hours ago, I wasn't thinking about Mason Graham, and this whole mock draft from this morning threw me off and just got in my head.
Yeah, they're overthinking it a little bit too. I mean, I think everybody is. You said it best, George.
Yeah, it's overthinking, and I had that feeling about Graham. You know, Jason, you know that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like, let's see the draft play out, though. I'll believe it when I see it. But you know, a lot of these.
What if New England takes him at 4, Graham?
Oh.
I think they're.
Then you're looking at maybe Will Campbell fall. Who knows?
Yeah. Because think about it. We talk about a tone set, a personality mix What if New England just says, okay, we didn't get what we wanted. We want Graham.
Oof.
Boy,
that's a scare.
My dream scenario is Membo falling here. I got so excited when I saw that somebody's mock had it today, but who knows? All right, so if we like Starks, are we taking the risk? All right, are we going to take this pick here? They're going to give us 23. We get 87.
I'll tell you, with this mindset, if you think Starks will be there, and if he's not, to settle for Amonwari or a defensive lineman, I'll take the risk if we're adding to. We're having fun here.
Or you want to take?
We're only dropping down 4 spots, right?
Hey, let's do it. Let's have some fun.
We're dropping from what are we going from 13 to 16?
So basically, in total, when we started, we're going from 13 to 23, and we're picking up 78 and 87 along the way.
I don't know if Starks is going to be there at 23. I just want to do it just to see if he's not there.
Let's go.
Why don't we try it? Why don't we try it? We're having fun. It's a mock.
Oh, we got both safeties there.
Wow. Let's get Starks in there.
Right there
I feel like I'm in the scene of draft day. When they, the movie.
No, that was cool. I'm writing that one down.
All right. So Starks here. Let's go Starks.
Boy, if they pull something off like that, y'all gonna be going crazy. Because Starks was a lot of. I think Starks should be the pick at 13.
Many people have been saying that.
That was my first initial thought when at 13. Boy, who went in front of us here? Donovan Jackson.
All the other cornerbacks went, which is fine because we're still helping the secondary with the
Donovan Jackson went.
I'm looking trenches. I think we got to go with trenches here.
Oh,
I had Ariante Ursary, but if we've got who is this
Williams
we got on the board right here?
Let's see. All right, let's go with our line. We got
that's your guy. That's George's guy right here.
What do you feel about Savannah?
Oh, I went to go see him play this year too. He had a really good game in the game I went to. Playing left tackle. I think he's played guard, played right tackle. He's played every. You talk about versatility.
Yeah.
I like Wyatt Milam too, not for y'all's scheme.
Yeah, I don't like for us, no.
And I don't know if you're gonna like Savannah is a little bit top heavy. He plays top heavy.
But here's the thing about Savannah. Well, kind of I'll push back to see if you agree. I saw he ran 4.95. I saw that athleticism. I think he can move, but he is top heavy. Yeah. I think he's a plus athlete at right tackle. I see him as a right guard plus. You know what I mean? He goes up.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have a problem. I mean, when you have to execute angles as a tackle, it does change when you move
inside
to guard inside. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like on some of the
it does change. Yes, you're right.
But I do agree with you, George, that he's shown enough movement, even with the stiffness, to get most of those assignments done. And everybody doesn't have to look pretty when
he's nasty, man. He's nasty,
He is nasty.
Like draft nasty Mac, he's nasty, bro.
Oh, no doubt. We did a video spotlight on him.
Yeah. I got your link, by the way. I got your link of your website in the description box, so you guys check it out. I love Schlesinger. I know he's done a need. I love Carson Schlesinger.
Really good football player.
He's so instinctive. Again, he's 2 yards ahead of the play. You know what I mean? And that makes up for everything. All right, so defensive tackle. There's Darius Alexander on the board.
Oh,
Alfred Collins. Alexander.
Alfred Collins.
Now, what number? We're at the next pick, right? 30.
We're 48.
This is our picks. We got 48. We picked up 78, 87.
So we're at 48 now, and all these guys are still on the board?
Yep.
Let me go back there. Let me see that one more time.
Here's the all. You want to look at a specific position?
No. I like all.
Yeah, it's all.
I think that it's a little bit. This simulation is interesting, and they've got Alexander still on the board. I had him going about 46.
Yeah, Alexander's my 44th right there. Damn, bro, it's good to see when you do your board and like the guys are, you know what I mean? Alexander.
Now, I like Alexander here because
what about Collins? I'm big.
Either one. Either one would be fine.
Alfred Collins is the best. One of the best run defenders.
He's play now 6'6", 330 right now.
He's got movement too.
Yeah, real 501.
Yeah, he's a good player, man.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting he ran 4.95 actually.
No. I think that's estimated.
Yeah.
He didn't. He actually didn't. I don't think he ran. He had He didn't have great workout numbers. 26-inch vertical, 8'8" broad.
I'll tell you right now what he ran. So what are we down to, Jason? Give me your opinion here.
Listen, I'll be happy with Alexander or Collins, knowing that one of those extra picks we should hopefully wind up with Tate Ratledge or maybe one of those interiors. So I'm
leaning. Gosh, Alexander and Collins are two different guys, man.
Well, what do you want? Do you want a guy to be in the middle of the line and plug up the run, or do you want a guy who's almost like a poor man's Jason Graham?
Well, I want to interject here. The scheme that Collins played in school, because of the base 3-4 that you play, he played a lot at the defensive end spot in school, even though he's 330 pounds. Yeah. So that's what makes him unique. And he did it rather effortlessly. Now, he also played inside of the nose some, but he gives you some positional flex there to me, those three positions. Now, that's just something to consider because of your scheme. He's already played in that under Pete Kwiatkowski.
I like that familiarity, so I'm fine with Collins here. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm between Collins and Alexander. I can't get that pick 6 out of my head from Darius Alexander, though.
No. I don't think that Alexander would have a problem either in this scheme. He's also been multiple.
Yeah, he holds ankle well, man, Alexander. He's not big.
Absolutely.
As big.
Yeah, no doubt about
6'4", 305.
The difference is Alexander's 4'9'5".
Yeah.
So, and he plays 4'9'5" or in flashes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
he moves. Yeah.
Just not, that game where you had to pick 6, that was one of his better games. I don't know, and I covered him all the way back. I announced one of his games back in 21 when he was a younger guy. You got to be careful with them, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to get that every week?
No. Yeah, but, I mean, it showed I think there's more upside here. Collins is a 24-year-old guy, but, again, it's what this team now. They're ready. They want guys who are ready to play now. And Alfred Collins is one of the safer picks. He's one of the players I'm most comfortable knowing can come in day one and contribute and even start. I don't know if you agree with that, Jason and Corey.
I think he could start right away. Now, you said 24 years old. Isn't that like don't y'all have like Miami normally has had kind of like an age barometer, right? On some.
I mean, I think Robert Hunt was pretty close to that when we took him. If I'm not mistaken.
They like youth. They definitely like youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any of those other guys.
I think what I like about Alexander, he's a 3-down player. You know what I mean? That's what to me.
I think so. I think he can be a inside 3 technique on third downs. No doubt.
Let's pick Alexander.
Let's go Alexander.
I like that pick a lot.
All right.
Let's pick Alexander.
Because I'm a little surprised on that simulation. JT Tuimoloau is still left. Not as surprised as Sawyer was still there.
Right. Let's see who went before us. Farmer, Trapillo, Josiah Stewart, Scotabo, Isaiah Bond. I don't know where he's going, but
I don't know how that went. I mean, I thought he would fall.
Tate Ratledge looked maybe available.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Tate Ratledge gone yet.
Let's go to players.
Oh, this would be great for Tate Ratledge here.
Hey, watch out with this kid.
Center.
Yeah.
No, he could play guard. This guy can move. Guard? He can move, man. What are your thoughts on Wilson? He's the least talked about Georgia guy almost. It seems like on the
he's been probably there. I would have to say the fastest riser. Yeah. I think in terms of like what you could do with them from a mobility standpoint, aside from what he ran, like he can pull. I think he does a pretty good job on some of his cutoffs. I don't necessarily think you're getting the same amount of power that you might be getting from a Ratledge,
especially on the lower body. Yeah.
Yeah, he does have some power, though. I think his power is slightly underrated.
He's dense. He's thickly built. You know what I mean?
He is. He's built more like a defensive end a little bit, whereas Ratledge and also Fairchild, the other guard, those guys are built a little bit differently. I have to be honest with you. I like Ratledge a lot, too. I don't think those two guys are that far apart.
Here's what I would say, though. The outside
I was looking for.
This guy on an outside zone scheme, though,
this guy's available right here for y'all?
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do with Brewer played his
I would try this guy guard.
Yeah, okay. You're getting small, you're getting really small up front.
Yeah, that's true.
You got Brewer at 275. This guy's
like
310.
If Ratledge is I'm doing the dance on the table if Ratledge is here. I'm doing the dance because he is a right guard. You just plug him in at right guard. You move James Daniels to left guard, or maybe even get Liam Eichenberg out of the equation with one of those guys. I would love Ratledge here.
How many snaps did Wilson play? He played all. He's only played center most of his career. He played 18 snaps at right guard. I like the athlete and I like the upside here, but I don't know if the Dolphins are ready to
go all in on a 295.
I like the mentality Ratledge brings, and there's a kind of trench-defining potential here.
Let's see.
I love Ratledge.
Let's go. You could show me on Ratledge. He ran what?
No. Where are we at in terms? Let me go back. Could you let me see that board one more time?
The all
86, and where are we picking?
It's like
78.
a relative. It's like a 10-pick reach, but like this is right in the range. I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that you got to be like, because each position will knock the other position down. So that may not necessarily mean that. That's something that I've always, and I'm so glad we're doing this simulation, because that's one of the things that people would always ask me. So like, well, how did you have like 75 second-round grades or 60 second-round grades? Well, some of these guys might be 103, 110, 125, all with second-round grades. So I think that's where you got to make the decision on like.
And they got Williams ran real low. I love Noah. What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, I thought he was one of the best corners in the draft.
Oh, I love him, bro. I
had him going in the third round, but I think he's a second-round talent.
I like this kid too. He's small, but he plays physical. Jacob Parrish, though.
Don't
get it twisted. Yeah, and this kid's rising up. He's long, good man cover corner here.
I think with that other bonus pick, you can go into.
We got to go. Yeah.
But I think you go up and get Ratledge right now, and I think the trend.
We don't have a corner yet, right?
No. Correct. We have the safety and
here's the corner. Here's just the board of corners in the O-line.
I go Ratledge right now, and I go.
Hey, you like this kid?
Yeah, I would probably take Grant. How close are they?
They're real close. Grant.
Yeah, I had Grant. Let me see if I had Grant going before them. I think I did, because I think he gives you some positional flex that those two only give you.
I don't think Jason's gonna let us go off.
Listen, if you guys are with it, it's 2-1. That's fine by me. I just want offensive line, preferably a guy who's going to take a job on the interior, potentially.
Ratledge will take a job. Ratledge will come in and start.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Ratledge here because I think we want him. I know Daniels is the right guard, but I think they don't know yet if he's left or right.
Daniels has played left guard.
Yeah, he could play left or right.
I don't want Liam Eichenberg off this line.
Yeah, I don't want a rookie playing left guard next to Paul. I'd rather have it now.
Yeah, you put the veteran. You put the veterin next to Paul.
Ratledge is a true right guard.
Right.
Let's go Ratledge here. You okay with that, Corey?
Absolutely. I love it. Matter of fact, where was that pick made?
78.
78.
Okay, I'm gonna see where I had him going in mine.
He's number 60 something on my board. I got.
Well, I didn't. I'm just talking about like who.
Where you had him?
I had him going 80 to Indianapolis.
So we're right there.
There. So,
beautiful.
I mean, it's a good load. We can kind of go by that.
There's 3 linemen there I would have took, but I agree, though. The floor here and the ability to day one right guard, we'll go. I think Ratledge was the right choice. All right. 87, who's available? Remember, we picked up these 2 picks.
That was good. That was a good job. Y'all but for a team that needs to kind of increase the competition all over the roster, I think those are 2 good trades y'all made.
Hey, I love this kid, man. I love this kid. Dylan, he is fun. He's got.
I think he's too much like what you
I know. But if we didn't have that, his spin
no
move,
question.
He's like a video game. His spin moves, his jump cut moves, they're crazy. I'm a huge fan of his. What are we thinking here? Corner.
What area again?
This is 87.
87. Boy, I like these corners, man.
I would say go one of the corners.
I like Paris Frazier, and I like.
Let's see what I have for you.
We worked this guy out. I know we worked this guy out recently. Who you have higher? Riley or no? I have Williams higher.
I'd say whoever's the best outside corner who could potentially come in and compete with Storm Duck, compete with Cam Smith, and maybe even get a starting role. Give me the best outside corner if we're going corner.
Well, you know what? How are we going to pick a corner without a former corner giving his
opinion? Defer to Corey here.
Yeah, well, Corey, we're going corner.
Out of these corners right here?
Yeah.
Let me see. And what round is this?
We're round 3, pick 87. And we have 98. We have 98.
They've got Williams ranked below all of those guys. We're at pick 8.
We can conceivably, with this simulation, wait until the next pick, which is 98.
I'm not taking those guys right now.
All right, so let's go to all. Davion Williams?
Let me see. Where we at? I had y'all taking go to the safeties. I had Makuba for y'all right here at 98.
Yeah, well, we already got Starks.
We took Starks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that
hey, how you like Bowman Jr.? I love Bowman Jr.
I had him go off in the 4th round at 125. So.
All right, so.
And I guess your point is you just want to get a corner? If you just I'm
not going to force it.
I don't need to force it.
Let's see what we got all. Let's see what we got.
I think it's best player available right now, really.
The other position I attacked with y'all.
Ooh, how about we double dip?
Was defensive tackle, like defensive end, Tonka Hemingway. Another guy.
Who's our draft? Our picks. And
are offensive guard, which you just got.
Starks, Alexander, Ratledge. I could live with that.
And I can't believe I gave y'all Dante Thornton.
The safety?
Huh?
The safety?
No, the receiver from Tennessee, 6'5".
Oh, Dante Thornton. I'm thinking, who am I thinking? Why am I thinking? Yeah, Dante Thornton. Yeah.
Well, you're probably thinking about Corey. Well, Corey Thornton is.
Yeah. I'm thinking. So there was a Thornton. A safety, or is it Denton or somebody? Receiver here. I'm not. I don't love this. I mean, Thornton. I'll do day 3. I know you like him, Jason.
I like his ability to be a gadget player.
I think we can get him at 98.
Who's that?
I'm fine with that. Savion Williams.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, you got to have the right offensive coordinator for Savion Williams. You guys have the right offensive coordinator.
I would take him right now. I would take him to make sure. Or if you love Charles Grant, I love
Charles Grant.
That's not a bad double dip right there.
And you can get both of them. You got both two picks.
Well, we have.
Here's our picks. Here's our picks. We got a bunch. We got 23.
I think Savion Williams will be there still at 98.
We got 87, 98, 116, 135.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Well, I mean, I think you've got some flexibility now the way you've attacked the first 3 rounds.
I would go Grant here, get your boy George, and then we could slide down and get Savion, who I think will be there at 98.
Yeah. That's the risk. I mean, now we got to get that. You got to get that corner right. Y'all agree? Y'all in agreement with that, right?
100%. And I think we can get one of those guys, maybe even Noah Williams at 115.
I'm gonna go Charles Grant here, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that move.
We got tackle. We got tackle flexibility.
Absolutely took care of the offensive line.
Yeah. And Grant's a good prospect.
And there he is.
What?
I'm doing the Irish jig on the table right now for Savion Williams right now. I'm Michael Flatley.
We have not took a corner in this draft, though. We would
that's the one thing I would say. You don't want to mess around and just get stuck with day 3 guys.
Yeah.
I like Denzel Burke.
Yeah, 103, you're already in day 3, right?
No, we're on this. Yeah, this is
day 3.
Yeah.
This is day 3.
So you need to get the corner out of the way now.
No, we're at 98.
This is the 2nd round pick. This is the 3rd round pick. This would be
you definitely better get the corner.
All right, so let's get a cornerback here. And I'll take the risk on settling for another wide receiver because cornerback's more important.
Yeah, guys, we're here. We got almost over 100 people watching. Come on over to YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, hit that like and subscribe button. We are with Corey Chavous, Jason, and myself. We're 2 hours in. We did a 32.
Thank you for sticking with us, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for sticking with us.
Corey, thank you, Corey.
The chat. I've had a ton of fun.
I've had a lot of fun, too.
This is a blast, man.
We thought we'd only be going an hour, but we're like, heck, we're not going to be able to do this for another year. We might as well just,
we're getting it all out now.
Yeah. All right, so we're going corner.
I think that's the best corner. I like flexibility.
I like Noah Williams. Do you like what do you think about this kid? He's
rolls Williams can return punts too. He can be a factor.
That's exactly right, Jason. It gives you a lot. Now, if you want to go by, 40,
that's Frazier.
George,
he's long.
You got the Frazier guy with the 40, but at the same time,
the level of competition is as well. But he's got good man cover skills and he's long. Williams led the FBS, and I like Noah. There's something about Noah Williams I like a lot.
I like Williams, but I agree that it's tough optically to not draft a cornerback until day 3.
Let's see who's.
You want to just wait?
I think if we go Williams,
let's go ahead and let's just wait.
I think Williams.
By the way, I didn't have many idea Oladejo would still be on the board at 95.
Yeah, really. Well,
and then the other thing that I like that you still have a possibility of getting. I know you signed all these linebackers, but I still think that that Chris Paul being on the board, Chris Paul is a hell of a player.
Yeah.
So you got some options here.
Yeah, we do. Gunnar Helm's an option too. I think he's being overlooked with that foot injury.
Williams. Some of these guys will not be here.
Billy Bo. Oh yeah. Even this guy can play too. He's fast. This is a fast, long linebacker.
I think Williams definitely gets taken.
And some of those guys can help you on special teams too. Chris Paul can. Yeah. Danny Stoops can help you on special teams. Savion Williams can help you on special teams.
He's long and fast.
I do think that there's some value with that. Ty Felton can.
Yeah, the corner market is.
I guarantee you we'll end up with Noah Williams at 115.
Yeah. Dorian Strong's a good corner. Got some tough decisions to make.
Yeah, he's surprising. He's still there.
I'm confident that within the next 10 pick range.
All right, he wants. Hey, he's banging the table. Let's give.
Let's go ahead and knock him on out the way. Let's go.
I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of Savion as well. So we'll go Savion.
You guys choose the corner.
Well, we got to see who's left now.
There it is.
Yeah.
Noel's right there.
I'm going to go.
They brought him in.
Y'all scheme. I'm going to go Quincy Riley here.
They brought him in. That makes sense. They might have loved him.
I think that's. I think Riley's the best fit for your scheme.
Hey, I'm not going against the former corner. So real quick, just to look.
It's a quarterback, Corey. One of my favorite cornerbacks ever from Louisville, Sam Madison.
Hey,
so the Dolphins get another cornerback.
Yeah.
Hey, what are your thoughts on CJ West?
Oh, now he's still
we got to
on the
get
board?
quarterback here.
Yeah.
I would that changes things. I didn't know he was still on the board.
Now there's another pick, a couple of picks.
Here's the board. I'll go 90. I'll scroll down a little bit. David Walker, he can play.
Oh my God, I love him.
Yeah, so do I. This guy can play too. That's your boy, Jason.
That back. You lied. I mean, we'll go back to our picks. We have after 116. What's left? I think there's one more pick than day 3. So
we're loaded,
116
bro.
and 135.
In this situation, I'd be unloading some of these picks.
I say we just get. I think we go with the cornerback now. It might be tough to find one.
Yeah, I'm with you. And the one thing about this cornerback group, we got Alexander just because he played at LSU, but he actually played at Southeastern Louisiana before that. But same thing with Noah Williams. He played at UNLV before Cal. And then, so really what you're drafting is Southeastern Louisiana, number one. The second one is MTSU. The third one is you talking about UNLV. Now, Dorian Strong really did go to Virginia Tech. So, and by the way, the Upton Stout right there, he ended up really he started off in North Texas. So many of these guys, it's always funny to me they only put the last school that they went to.
This is a sleeper for me, Corey. What do you think of Cone?
I think he's very competitive. I thought he had an excellent Senior Bowl week. I thought he had a solid year. I think that he's had some penalty issues at times.
Yeah.
But a little bit of over aggressiveness. But I think for the most part, man, he's got good movement skills. Yeah. And he's got decent size.
Yeah, I think Quincy Riley is the guy they brought in. Let's go Quincy Riley.
Let's
go ahead and do that.
That makes sense. And
by the way, 15 career interceptions.
Ooh, ball. They need to increase those.
That's more than Noah Williams.
Ooh, look at this. I like Damian Martinez here.
What about quarterbacks? We get any quarterbacks?
I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback, frankly.
Either do I.
I had y'all drafted one.
I hope so, but I think if you don't draft one in the top 4 picks, 5 picks, it just falls off. Might as well just sign
that's
one.
That's true. I mean, I guess
wait till next year.
Hey, this is a sleeper tight end here.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I had him going a little bit higher. I had him going 128. Where's that at for y'all?
We're at pick
135.
135.
Because I'm not gonna go back and change all of this stuff. I'm just gonna get this stuff wrong. I had him at 126.
This is good range.
No,
I would take him.
I had him at 126, and he's at 170 available.
No, he's the 170 player on their board. We're at pick 135. 135.
I think that's going a little too. Because both of these guys right here, where you had them, like Brenningstool, I had them going in 5th. So I would stay away from them. You want to try to get somebody that's around your range.
Man, I love this guy. He doesn't win. He doesn't win with power. You think he does? He's 6'2", 212. I mean, he's got size, but he wins by elusiveness, bro.
But
He does.
If we're gonna solidify the offensive line with Tate Ratledge, with a guy who could help on the inside, on the outside, I'm getting power runner right now because they lack a power runner. So to me, that's a Damian Martinez.
Yeah,
that's an Ollie Gordon.
Yeah,
I
could go. I like Damian. Damian fits. He's like Ollie Gordon is a short yardage 2-down back, right? Martinez he's quick feet and he's elusive for a big back. He gives you a little bit more 3-down potential. I'd probably go Martinez or Giddens. Giddens is just fun. I like his style. I like that gliding, smooth style he has. I probably got Giddens a little bit higher, but for the Dolphins, maybe Martinez if you want to go running back. What running back you like here, Corey?
I totally agree with completely with Jason on this, only because of who you have in the building.
Fit-wise player, I like Giddens.
Need a little bit of thunder.
Yeah.
We got lightning. We need some thunder.
Let's go, Martinez. You guys good with that?
Yeah. I actually had him going to y'all before I changed it even earlier.
All right.
I think it was 98 before y'all traded all those picks away.
Pick 150, and we got 155 coming up. All right, let's go to Devin Neal, Gordon.
I'm looking at Corey. At this point, I'm looking at like the best special teamers mixed with what they could potentially be with their true position.
Oh, I love Jack Kaiser, man.
That's one right there.
That's probably one of your better special teams players in the draft.
I would go Kaiser in a heartbeat right here. Or Kobe King is another guy.
Kobe King he's a pretty good linebacker to me.
Right.
I like him better than these other guys at linebacker. Let me see I'll tell y'all where I had these guys off on my board. Name them again. King.
Oh, the linebackers?
King was off my board at one. He went 111 to the Panthers. Who's the other guy?
Bassa
went 152 to the Cardinals.
Kaiser
went 160 to the 49ers.
And then you have, Nick. I know you like Nick Martin's good.
Higgins
too.
Is a 7 guy, probably around.
Nick Martin. I'm at 166 right now. Nick Martin is not come off.
Where did you have Mitchell Evans?
I had Mitchell Evans at 126.
This is good value here for Mitchell Evans.
The only thing is we might be able to get Mitchell Evans in the next round. You
could get Mitchell Evans. I took him high, but the reason I put him there was because it was Jacksonville, and I didn't want to risk them like him going down any further because I think he fits a good role for Jacksonville as an underrated.
Man, this guy's good too. He's, he doesn't have the lateral movement, but boy, I like him as a project, but not Trey Witt. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think it's either quarterback. Dylan
I had y'all taking Jalen Rivers at 135.
I like Jalen Rivers too. From Miami too. You're double upping on the Hurricanes with Martinez and Jalen Rivers. Another
is he gone? He might be gone.
I think he is gone actually.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I guess.
Oh, Dante Thornton went right in front of us. Good thing we did. There's a run here, Jalen Lane.
I picked Dante Thornton for y'all there.
Hey, this guy right here, Jeremy Caldwell. That's good.
Yeah, I had him going 113, I believe.
My guy Jackson Slater. Where did we pick? Because we took Giddens.
I want mine.
Rivers went here. 137.
Rivers went.
Good, man.
Huh?
How do you do that simulation? That is awesome.
Stick to the model.com right here.
I might take that site and see and put my picks in and see what comes up next.
There you go.
Hey, that's crazy though, man. You even got AI that do.
It is crazy.
Man.
And this one is the best, I think. It's the most realistic. Like right now, you'd probably be getting like, I don't know, Ty Robinson and the other one, like right now. You know what I mean? Like this one is more realistic. All right, so I think
it's realistic because you're still making the decision.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm in between the two Notre Dame kids here.
Which one?
Evans, the tight end, or Kaiser, the linebacker?
Who could you get with the next pick?
Kaiser.
So I would say
Kaiser. I got Kaiser at 160, and I actually picked him over some guys that I thought were.
Let's go Evans here.
Yeah, I like that. You're getting value there for position of need.
And he's vastly underrated, by the way, I think.
And then boom, you can go right away with Kaiser.
Yeah. Anybody else here on the all?
I would do either Kaiser or Kobe King.
UM kid.
Wide receiver, running back, returner kid.
But only thing about it is now that's an interesting pick right there. If you need another, if you feel like
I think you got so much of that though. Oh, you talking about Smith? Brashard Smith?
No, I was talking about Powell Ryland while your other guys are getting either. If you want, he's got the 31-inch arms. So if you want to go with Q Robinson, a longer player who's about as eighth as productive as this guy right here was among the nation's leaders in sacks.
He put some moves. Like he's got some moves in his toolbox. You know what I mean? As a rusher, he's one of the few guys that really like because all these other guys like the kid from Ohio State, Sawyer, they're not as their pass rush is in development. He's one of the few actually as you get to the second and third tier, of edge rushers. Yeah, so
he's one. I mean, he has to with 31-inch arms. He compares very favorably to Brandon Graham when he came out. Actually, Brandon Graham.
Who's the kid we took last year?
Mo Kamara.
They're different. I think they're a little bit different.
Kamara's shorter, a little
shorter. Yeah.
No, he's a shorter, but probably longer than this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's 6'3", 258 with 31-inch arms.
Yeah.
All right. Now this other guy's a good developmental potential player for y'all, Josh Joyner, Minnesota.
Yeah, I saw things moving up about Joyner too. I wouldn't mind an edge here knowing that they got.
Yeah, if you want to go,
man.
He's got the thing with Joyner is he's
right now.
Joyner looks the part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a developmental.
Yeah, he's got some juice on the edge.
I think they would develop underneath at least the savvy of Bradley Chubb. He's been around a while.
You know what? And we need some size at the end. And this guy has juice. He's got upside. Let's go.
What
Joyner.
about Tyrion Ingram Dawkins in your 3-4 scheme too? Either him. I mean, there's another guy. Now he's about 6'5", 276, but he ran a 4.86. He has all of the tools in the toolbox.
Yeah, he does have that.
Inconsistent player. I actually like the other guy that played alongside of Warren Brinson. Is he still on the board?
Ty Hamilton's still on the board.
Ty Hamilton's still on the board. You got to get a defensive tackle somewhere. So I don't know which one of these guys you're going to take, but do you want
I like his size, Cam?
Or what are we doing?
We took Darius Alexander.
Okay.
We could double up right now with defensive line, though. That would be a good spot if there's a guy remaining that shouldn't be there, like a Ty.
Absolutely. You got to get the pass.
Let's double up. Let's go Ty Hamilton, best defensive lineman remaining.
Let's go. You want to go Ty Hamilton?
Hamilton may.
I mean, look here. I put it together. Here's the D line and edge group together only on the board. This is how it lines up. They're best available. You got Tonka Hemingway. There's a lot of good.
Exactly. That's why all of them were going out.
I like this kid out of Miami too.
I do too. Played at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Yaya Black is underrated. 6'5", 337. Decent movement. Had a poor combine, so they dropped him down. But he got his behind kicked by Luke Newman from Michigan.
Robinson and Q Robinson. I mean, we forget about him out of Alabama. He's an explosive guy. He looks like that prototype edge.
He does. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, me either. There's a lot to be desired there for me with him.
In fact, that's the same thing, really, George, with Ingram Dawkins. Jordan, kind of the same, but you get a little bit more. He had a good Senior Bowl week. The guy in this group that doesn't really fit your prototype is Powell Ryland. Now, I'm talking about the edge. Now, because we're talking about a guy, what do you have, 16 sacks this year? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I just think if we're looking at he's crazy. The thing is, though, I think we need to look for some length. We have Chop, and we have our injury concerns are Chubb. And look, we're picking in the 5th round here. Or, we can't get just basically.
That's what I'm saying. We're looking for a depth piece.
Yeah, a depth piece.
That's all we're looking for is a depth piece.
Jason, your thoughts here?
Edge doesn't have to be it. To me,
I like Ty Hamilton here.
It's inside.
I like Ty Hamilton here, and this way we double up.
Let's go Ty Hamilton. I can live with that. I'm surprised he's still around.
I think it's value here. Doubles up.
Where do you have him on your thing, Corey?
Hamilton went off the board for me. What pick are you at?
We're at 155.
He went off the board for me to San Francisco at 147.
Yeah, so we're in that range. Works. Let's go Hamilton. You good with that?
Absolutely. I think he's a potential. You get potentially starting caliber as a backup.
Yeah. So now we're in the 7th. We got 3 picks in the 7th.
So that's how you go.
Kaiser.
I'm not even gonna. We got to go Kaiser here, man.
He's not gonna fall.
No, is he down here in the 7th?
Yeah,
he's right here. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But you notice
224 and Jack Kaiser's.
You notice that Power Rollin is down there too.
You could get both of them.
Fall, man.
Hold on, what picks do we have?
Three more picks.
We have 224 and 231. It's tough though. One of them probably be gone. I think.
I would say with the simulation, probably you want to draft Power Ryland and then see if Kaiser's remaining.
Well, wait a minute, and that's only because of the fact that.
Oh, you know who I didn't think
the best special teams player is Kaiser though.
Hold on, where's my guy? Where's my guy? He's gone. Oh,
Caleb Ranshaw. Sorry, George.
Oh no, I don't know what. Yeah, Ranshaw was gonna. Where did he go?
I don't know. Hey, tell me what you think. Tell me you're in love with him as much as I am. I don't know he's a missile in the slot, man.
Coach, his defensive back coach said that he would let him marry his daughter.
Hey, and he is a missile.
That's an endorsement, slot, right,
bro. You know?
Yeah, no, he really is. And
I look at my safety.
I give Troy better than
I give him some safety. I give him a look at safety. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think he can be.
All right, so where are we going to go here? Kaiser.
Go with the special teamers. Go with Jack Kaiser.
Jaden Blue's available?
Yeah, he's kind of low on mine too.
Okay. Experience, maybe.
All right,
I gotta get this thing that you got, man. One of my friends will love this, man.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He would love this. What is it? Stick to the model draft.
You know what I love about this show today is this is like if we were all three just sitting at a bar or somewhere and just doing this mock draft.
We do.
I forget that we were even on live stream. Like I didn't even. I apologize to everybody in the chat. We're just having a blast here, you know. But make sure you guys come over to YouTube, watch on there, and hit that like, subscribe, and just to give everybody an update before we're going to be live tomorrow before the draft. Then after the pick of the Dolphins, you guys go enjoy the pick, enjoy the draft. When the Dolphins pick, maybe 10, 15 minutes after, you come on here. You come nowhere else. No, that's not true. But you come on here and you get me, you get Jason Starty, and we got a bonus for you, Bobby Schaus from the Dive Bar Podcast. And he's agreed to come on, I think, the second night as well. And he make
sure you tell him I said what's up too.
Yeah, I will. You got to go on their show too, man. He'll love to have you on.
You got to chop it on those boys.
Yeah, I was on their show yesterday. Shout out to those boys. All right, so where are we going here?
Kaiser, special team dog. This team needs.
All right, we're going Kaiser. We're going Kaiser.
He had a good pro day too, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Roland's there.
There you go.
Riley's there.
Whoa,
let's do it.
What?
Let's do it.
Send it in.
That's crazy. I had him going in the 4th round. He's all the way down there at Mr.
We'll take it.
Is this our last pick? Last pick. Corey, you're the guest of the show. You close it out. This is your.
Close it out.
All right, let's see what we got, man.
All right, I'm going to scroll down.
Available?
This is the best available.
This is the best available right here?
Yeah, if you want to see by position, but here's the best available.
I want to see all of them. Let's go.
Yeah, here's the top. Starts with Hunter, according to them.
No, that's cool. And none of them have been drafted yet.
Oh, Teddy Buchanan.
Right, these are all available guys.
All right, I gotta admit, right now he's at the top of my list.
Who's that?
Buchanan.
Oh, I
can't believe Marks is still here, but I don't know. I know he would work well in your offense. Mawa Go is still on the board?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. No. Wait a minute. Are those guys crossed out or what?
No, that's what we took already. This is our need, but I would consider Grant as a tackle. We're gonna get Nick for that in the grade, but like I would consider Grant as a tackle. You know,
yeah,
they have him interior. He can play interior.
I can't believe all these people are still here.
Yeah, remember. Here's the thing about this draft, Jason. I'm Jason. Jason and Corey, is that this is like the last COVID year one. There's a lot of undrafted free agents this year is going to be deep as well. Like, this is not a blue chip top of the draft, right? There's not a ton of blue chip, but it's deep. You know, it's deep. You can do. I've done some.
Jadon Blue was down there.
I've done some of these drafts in the past, and like, I'm like after the 5th round, I'm like, who's available? You know what I mean? Like nothing there.
Yeah. No, so, I feel you on that. It just used to be so different, like back in the day. But
yeah, when you mentioned,
why are those guys in black right there? Go back down. Go back to Curtis Rourke. You seem like he was in black. Yeah, why is he in black?
Some seem like they're bolded.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're like
the ones that are in gray.
Maybe the bold is what they would recommend. Maybe that's a recommendation.
Recommending it.
Yeah, you need a backup quarterback.
You know what? This is a guy who's not bad to draft. I don't know if that's the case then with the suggestions. Maybe it's just the graphic.
I know they like this kid.
Yeah, Graham Mertz is more talent than that. Well, not really. What about Seth Hennigan? Is he still? I know he's still available.
Yeah, he fits.
I would take him. If you're gonna take a quarterback as a backup, Brady Cook is still on the board too.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a very talented guy to still be on the board.
He's a great athlete. Yeah.
But Seth Hennigan, I think, is the better quarterback of the two. Although
I would agree. Cook is a better athlete, but
yeah.
Who has better upside as a passer?
I think Cook's got.
Mertz can pass too, though.
Yeah, Mertz is probably out of these guys right here. Brosmer is excellent. Already got he's like a science medical degree already from New Hampshire. Curtis Rourke has a very strong arm. Poor playoff game, I think, kind of hurt his final standing. Peyton Thorne, I just think he's been a little bit too inconsistent. Even pretty good at Michigan State.
I wouldn't mind Rourke here, tell you the truth. Wouldn't be the worst in the world.
So it's your pick, Corey.
But yes,
we're gonna. But y'all give me the position to pick from, and then
all right, George, you give the position.
Yeah, I mean, I could go. I mean, looking at the board, I mean, quarterback's probably not. Let's see what we got here. Oh, you want to talk about a upside pick here? Miles Hinton out of Michigan.
Yeah, he's definitely got upside. So does Paul and Dalton Cooper.
Yeah. I mean, this guy looks. I mean, he looks like a top, five. He's what a 5-star recruit looks like.
He does.
That's the offensive line. You want to look at? There's a safety group. Nothing there. Linebackers.
And all of these guys are available.
Yeah. It's scratch out. When it has a line
I would have to say Teddy. I mean, it'd be tough between Francisco Mauigoa. I can give you some of it. 8 interceptions at UC Davis. He comes over to Cal, first team All ACC linebacker. I mean, he's one of those guys, one of the better defenses in the country this year. I think he's 6'2", 240. I thought he was the best linebacker or one of the best at the East-West Shrine. But at East-West Shrine also had Francisco Mauigoa, who y'all are very familiar with down there.
Yeah.
Another guy who has been excellent since he transferred from Washington State. I think that really with him, he's a little stiffer and not as good in coverage as Buchanan.
What a draft, man.
Those two guys will be the guys I would choose from. Because you've got one linebacker, Kaiser, for special teams. I wouldn't have taken Kaiser over Buchanan.
You wouldn't have.
But take Buchanan.
So let's take.
By the way, Jay Higgins, me and you already talked about him. We're talking about a guy that is probably the best, just instinctive linebacker in the whole
tackle machine.
Special teams demon, right?
Well, no. Football demon. 170 tackles led the nation.
No. I mean, yeah, but I mean, he come in. Oh, what about
that? I don't know. I mean, 4.8 speed. You know what I'm saying? 30.
Sean Dolak.
He's not an explosive athlete necessarily, but
Sean Dolak could be a great pick. I think the Bills are going to
explosiveness.
I would love Dolak from a former SUNY Buffalo Bull myself.
Let's go ahead and go with Dolak.
We'll go with Dolak. All right, it's done.
He's been good up there for a long time.
I love it.
All right, so here's our draft. We got a B plus from that. We got a B plus.
Wow, okay.
I'll take it.
They liked our draft. All right, just to recap, guys, we went Malachi Starks. We traded back. We did 2 trades from 13 to 23. We acquired picks 78 and 87. Closed that gap between 48 and 98. We got Starks. We got Darius Alexander. We saw the D-line. We went interior offensive line. And a guy with Tate Radlich, who's a media starter at right guard. Day 1, you moved Daniels. And then we got a upside, small school, but a unbelievable athlete who can play inside or tackle. So you're protected there with Patrick Paul. We went with Jason's guy, Savion Williams, who I look at him sometimes and figure he could be just a running back.
Yeah.
He's that good. Man. And then we went recommendation with our scout corner, former NFL player. He banged the table here for Quincy Riley for us. In our system, we went Quincy Riley. He's a guy we brought in. Then we went local kid down here with some size and running back Damian Martinez. Then we got a tight end who I think is overlooked. He's underrated. He's almost 260 pounds. Has that wide 3-down potential. One of the few guys in this draft, I think, who has that. Ty Hamilton, defensive tackle, a little undersized, but really athletic. Fell to us. We went Kaiser. who I think can play a little bit, not only on special teams, I think he could play on early downs here. And then went Powell Ryland, the explosive developmental edge. And then last pick, everybody's talking about Sean Dolak. He's, like you said, Corey, he's been doing it for a while over there.
I'm getting a little bit of vibes with Kaiser and Dolak of Larry Izzo and Zach Thomas, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Who's Zach and who's Larry? I could switch them.
Well, I would say Dolak would be the Zach and the Kaiser would be the Izzo, but either way.
Is that a rap song? Or?
That could be a sitcom on Netflix right there. I love it. Good draft. This was a good draft.
Yeah, that was maybe the most fun part.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, day 3 should be a fun part with 7 picks. Hopefully it's not terrible, but they have a lot of things they could do, and hopefully we'll see a couple of these names on the Real Dolphins draft. That would be fun.
I think what you did was put some pressure on them.
Well, I don't know if they're watching.
So you're saying here on the Fins Faithful podcast, Corey, I just want to get this
influencing.
Wait, you're saying on the Fins Faithful podcast, me and Jason as GMs, we've done the best job as anybody you've seen, right?
Besides it's not even close. That was too, I made it look a little too easy. The only thing you need now is just maybe one glass of bourbon and go off.
That's for the dive bar. That's for the fellas at the dive bar.
That'll happen. Okay. That'll happen after the show here. You know.
I'll tell you what. If we're getting one of these guys in that first round that we were discussing, one of those excellent blue chippers, I'll toast any kind of bourbon anybody wants on Thursday night. So let's rock and roll.
So, no, it's got a chance. I think y'all are in a very a comfortable position. I think would be overstated, but I do think that, and I think y'all would agree.
Yeah, it lines up.
You just go through that. You feel it, right?
It's hard to mess this. It's going to be hard to mess this up.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm thinking.
That's like the kiss of death right now for the Dolphins, but this is a hard mess up.
Pick 13, we select Matthew Golden.
But then again, I mean, well, no.
Corey, don't
the other guys.
No. All right. Well, to recap it, I mean, we've gone 2 hours and 20.
Thank you so much, Corey, for hanging with us, man.
Oh, no, that's nothing, man. This is great.
I couldn't.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Hey, anytime you want to come back on this show, you're welcome. And if you want to pop on one of our recaps, message Jason, and you're invited. You don't even have to worry about it.
Me and him are gonna recap it. I'm gonna be. We're gonna always have.
Okay.
He's gonna be like, all right, man, I gotta go.
Yeah. All right. So again. Well, we're gonna get out of here now. We went way too long, but I'm sorry. It was a fun. Thank you, Sammy. Great job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, everybody, make sure you subscribe and like to the channel and come on over here and support it. All right. To recap what we're doing tomorrow, we will be live before the draft for about, maybe 30, 40 minutes pregame. We'll get you set. I might drop my top 100 board on that show, Jason.
I think
you got to check that out.
That's it. You got to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to do it. Yeah. We'll do that. We'll get you set in the latest news, and then we'll let you guys watch the draft. And after the Dolphins pick, I picked 13. A little bit after that, we'll be live. So you guys make sure you come back here and check out our reaction. It'll be me, myself, Jason Sarney, and Bobby Schaus from the Dive Bar Podcast. Before we get out of here, Corey, plug anything you want to plug, where they can find you, where they can find your magazine, everything, and your website.
Yeah, Draft Nasty magazine, man. We got a lot of spotlights on a number of these players in the draft. After the draft's over, if you want to go back and see some highlights on who you drafted, hopefully we have it cut up. If not, find it somewhere else. But if he's over there, cool. If it's not, cool.
Yeah. Thank everybody in the chat. Thank everybody who watched.
Please, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
I know we went long, and I know the Heat playoff game's on. I'm gonna go watch a little bit of the recording. Don't tell me what happened, Corey.
No, I won't.
Corey's ready. He's all in on the Pistons, man.
I
like your team this year. All right.
Hey, he had to live that with me last night.
Oh yeah.
I always love the dual working here. Got basketball on one eye, you got football in the ear. Never a problem multitasking here.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. You were as advertised, like Jason said. What a great guy, and you're so knowledgeable on the draft, man. I already knew, but thank you, everybody. Less than 24 hours away. We will see you tomorrow evening before the draft, and then we'll see you after the Dolphins pick with a live reaction. For Corey, for Jason, for myself, thank you guys. We are out.
Thank you so much.
Corey, that was great, brother.